All right. Email marketing segmentation. This is cool. Oh my goodness. I'm actually looking at the iOS 18. And what I just noticed with the iOS 18 is that it looks so cool when you're switching it from, there used to be three, now there are four. It's automatic, standard, voice isolation, and wide spectrum. And it looks really cool. Really, really cool. So I'm like, yo, this is dope. Definitely, you should check out I updated to 18.1. So it definitely has. What's up, Liverpool? Good afternoon. How are you?
Just, I'm okay. Just give me a second. I just want to come back into the room because the app is lagging. So just bear with me a second. Yeah. Okay.
No worries. I don't know, maybe the app is in a new state. Take some time to
Yeah.
adjust.
Yeah. No. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes I don't know why. I think because I'm definitely on the new update at the moment, but because now I don't know if you've noticed enough to see, because it was really annoying me last night. Actually, I was in a room, I saw three sections. The audience is split into three different segments. You've got the house members, um friends, speakers, and others in the audience. So I think they're bringing back the old clubhouse a little bit, but I noticed that some of the room numbers, when you're inside a room, it doesn't actually reflect how many people are in the room. So I don't even know if that is a glitch, but yeah, that we seem to be going back to the old Clubhouse, which is a good thing. I think they decided that they're actually going to take some of our feedback on board, or some of our complaints on board. But it's too little, too late, because I think most of the major content creators or big people that had really, really interesting rooms have gone to other places now. So it's a bit little too late, really. But not complaining at all, but going back to what you were saying before about the iOS, actually haven't updated mine yet, 'cause I'm always a little bit slow sometimes to update everything. So, but yeah, I've definitely seen it on Twitter, because I go on Twitter quite a lot. I'm always tweeting things here and there, and I've seen the way it looks and everything like that, and it looks actually really, really nice. So I'm definitely going to get round to updating updating my phone. I don't know, how often do you update your iOS? Do you do it frequently whenever there's a new update, Favour?
Yeah, for me, I update because I'm an alpha tester or beta tester. I'm very big on breaking things down and building them up again. So I am in the iOS Pro Developer Program, and also other apps too, like Honeybook, which is what we use. I just had a full hour conversation with Honeybook yesterday, talking about how they can implement some new solutions for for business owners. And I just literally gave them a whole hour. They paid me for that hour, but it was really good to connect with them. And now planning to do some more business with the business on a B2B scale. So I'm very big on development, especially when it comes to infrastructure and businesses. Even if it's an email platform that I use currently, Flowdesk, they are paying me to do something for them. Pretty much get an article done, and I'm gonna bring them on my podcast show. So it's really happening. So with iOS, yeah, I updated it last night to 18.1, but when Apple dropped their new phone, the flagships and everything, I updated mine to iOS 18 right away. And I had some problems. Like yesterday, I couldn't use Face ID. I was like, this is not happening. So I had to literally reset my Face ID, and then I had to redo it again because it kept giving me an error message. So those are the kind of the small things you have to kind of expect when you're dealing with beta, because it could break. So I get it. But for me, that's the whole point of the process. You break things, you make them up, you make it happen, you learn from those mistakes and you keep going. So yeah, it's really good. So I'm using the iOS 18.1. And then when I was trying to check the voice isolation, you know how normally when you're on the phone, it just gives you like three options. You just tap on it, it changes. But now with iOS 18, the interface is different. The control center is so different. So when I was looking for the microphone controls, I'm seeing four. I'm like, oh, this is dope. And then it now actually shows a microphone with like an AI visualization. It's so dope. So these are some things I like to see. And these are things I tell my community about because it may be fascinating to me, to you too. I don't know if you're a geek or a nerd or a techie or you just love electronics, but if you like good things, then I'll share the good things with you. So that's how it's been. And yeah, definitely it's definitely something to try. But I get what you're saying. Like you don't want to break something that you're really getting used to until it's fully done. Like not everyone's gonna get the new phone. They're gonna wait till they do all the bugs and fixes and then they'll come in. I want to be there when it's early so that I can be there and say, oh yeah, I remember when this was happening. Like I got to Clubhouse November 24th, 2020. This was early days. So when you're saying that Clubhouse is coming back, I feel like it is because they just opened it up again, especially with the new feature. There's For You and there's Explore. So if you hit the Explore tab, I counted, I think the first time I saw it was 2 nights ago. And I literally counted the number of rooms. It got to about 200 rooms, live rooms. So I'm like, dang. So like Clubhouse has been live, but we've been gate kept. Like we've kind of like been put in our own boxes where we can't even meet. And you're saying like how right now it's house members. You see, like if you look at the room now, it's only house members, right? And then if somebody else comes, it's friends with speakers, and then it's audience. So they've changed it, which is good. And I think it's also going to open up more conversations because I think people want to also feel secluded, but also exclusive within a room setting that actually even gives them more of that value. Don't you think that too, Liverpool?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you know what? It's just gonna take a little bit more to get in kind of like used to it because people have been used to for a long period of months for it being a certain a way. It's gonna take a while to try and get used to it. But like I said, one thing that I said before is that like when you're in a room, you're able to see the room numbers. It doesn't. I think it was only just yesterday. It wasn't reflecting how many people were in the rooms. I don't know if that still would, if that's a glitch or Paul Mohan are working on that. But yeah, it's gonna take some youth to get taking some youth to getting back into the old format and everything like that. If you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm excited for it though. This is really what it's talk like. This is the real thing, and I'm glad that we're here to talk about it. So thank you so much for that insight. Just wanted to say hello to you all. Layla, good morning. David, Ehab, Katme, Kia, Bursu, as well as Dr. Grace, Selim, Mr. Willis, and also Anthony Raj. I hope I said it correctly, sir. Thank you for joining, connecting with me, and being here. As you're here with me, if you can look at my profile, tap on my face, and look at my profile. And then if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, please do, because LinkedIn is one of the places that I really show more. Like you can read more after this room, so you can actually see what I talk about, and it helps a lot of people. I'm slowly knocking on 10,000 followers now. I'm at like 9.7K. And in January, I made an intention. I think I was at 6K. I was literally at a status quo. And I was like, I can't be at 6K every year. This is not good. So I decided this year, 2024, I'm going to hit that 5 digit follow account for LinkedIn because, it makes sense to build that, and yes, there's Google, there's YouTube, there's Pinterest, there's podcasts, but I had to really make it even more intentional. So by showing up intentionally, that LinkedIn has also built into, creating experiences that we can also have. So now when I look at the bigger picture, right, I'm seeing that LinkedIn has allowed me to extend more connections, which has also opened up doors for business partnerships, right? And why I'm bringing up LinkedIn first before I even talk about email is because welcome Kia is because when you think about email marketing, it's literally, let me put it this way in like plain sight. It's electronic mailbox marketing. electronic mailbox marketing. So when you hear the word electronic and then you hear mailbox, you know that if you go outside your house, you're going to see a mailbox, or you're going to go to the mailbox that's designated for your house, right? When you put your hand into that mailbox and you bring it out, whatever you're bringing out is what somebody put in, right? And you're always going there every week, every other day. If you're expecting something, it's probably coming to your front door, right? You're building that because by the time you look at those five mails from your mailbox, you're probably going to throw away maybe one or two. Maybe one is a promotion, another one is just irrelevant. Then there's some that are very important to you that you can't throw away, right? You're segmenting because you know, okay, this is promotion, this is updates, this is primary. Like we're so used to digital that we forget the traditional, right? So that's why I'm kind of like trying to take us back just a little bit, because there is a point that it gets to for you to look at things within a simple formula setup code, because you are creating intentionality with the people you are marketing to, right? Email marketing, yes, it's great for sales. It's great for profitability. It's great for business relationships. It's great for accountability. It's great for reporting. It's great for receipts. It's great for alerts. It's great for everything that we can think of. But if we're not segmenting the same people we are connecting with, then how are we going to know them better? Liverpool, imagine if I talk to you every day, and every day I talk to you, I'm asking you, how are you? How's your day? How's you? How's your day? How are you? How's your day? At some point, you're going to feel like, does this person really care about my day, or they just talking? Because you've not added any context. Okay, do you like bagels? Do you like white bread? Do you like brown bread? Do you like milk? Do you like oat milk? Like the question turns from just good morning, how was your food, to the ingredients in the food, because you actually care about the context of the conversation. So if you're not just saying, hey, good morning, hey, good morning, happy Friday, happy Monday, it got to a point where it's like, man, you can't say anything else. Not because you can't say anything else, but you're not processing what you're saying. It's kind of like robotic. And when it becomes robotic, you notice a difference in your open rates and your click rates. People don't want to open your emails anymore because it's predictable, right? And I've even looked through my emails. Sometimes I don't even have to go through all my emails, but today I actually went through a couple of them and I unsubscribed from probably five from my official work email, the favor@playinc.online email, because I was like, this is all promotion. Like I didn't connect with you to promote back to me. Like I connected with you so I can know what you're doing, but there's nothing I can see you're doing apart from promotions in every email. So it's like, what am I learning from you? Right? So email is not about selling first. It's about telling. If you look at your mailbox and that has your name on it, it means that the mailbox is telling you that you got mail, right? It's the direct response. So if it's a direct response, then if you directly respond to your email list by addressing them by name, you start to see a difference in the connections. That's why when people are opting in or opting to your website, don't just pick their email. Yeah, you can pick it up first and then maybe segment them and ask them, okay, here's a survey, then asking for their name. Maybe you want to do it that way. Maybe you don't want to go, too deep too fast. But however you want to do it, some people ask straight up, what's your zip code? When's your birthday? Because those questions are going to help the email marketing workflow, the email segmenting, the email content marketing, and also the email branding that is going to help your business grow. So, before I go any further, I wanted to welcome you, Kia. We'd love to hear your thoughts, conversations, and if you have a question, please feel free. Welcome.
Hey, thank you for inviting me to the stage or accepting my invitation. Thank you so much. I love everything that you were singing, your content and everything. This is my first time in the room. And I'm not an email marketer, but because I'm a web developer and I build websites and I do SEO marketing, when I'm building my clients' websites, I set them up with a Klaviyo account. But aside from that, I'm a fashion stylist and I just launched a clothing line and I'm looking for email leads. I wanted to ask you, do you help with generating leads, or you just set up automations?
I help out with generating leads too.
Yay!
Hmm.
We need to work. We need to work.
You know what? Let me
Um,
put.
my audience. So my audience, real briefly, my audience right now,
Mhm.
I'm going after female, women of color, female lawyers.
Ooh. Okay.
Yes.
I'm about to do something real quick. I'm on my laptop. So, because I knew this was going to happen. so, so,
And I'm gonna draw, and I don't know if I'm doing good, but
okay.
right now I'm extracting off of LinkedIn.
Okay. Are you
That was
using
one of my
groups?
approaches.
Are you using LinkedIn groups?
LinkedIn groups, yes.
Okay. Okay. So, let me say this, especially for lead generation, is on LinkedIn too. You can create opt-ins for your company page on LinkedIn so that people can sign up if you have an event. People can opt in to your LinkedIn page. And then that way, when you're creating posts, you can always be directing them to those places. And the thing about LinkedIn events that I've noticed is that with a LinkedIn event, people are busy. People have schedules. So if you just do like a pop-up room like here on Clubhouse, you might not get anyone in the room because they didn't schedule to be in your audio room. But if it's something you do consistently and they know, okay, every Tuesday at this time, I'm probably going to see his room open, then they'll join naturally. But LinkedIn is a place where you have to plan ahead, like 2 to 3 weeks in advance. Let them know, hey, I have an event coming up. And then let them sign up to that event so that you can also generate leads there. Now, it may be a stretch because it can be really long, but there's so many things that we can talk about when we get on a call because I've worked with LinkedIn staff and we've covered some really huge clients, their LinkedIn pages. These are like multi locations, like multinational companies that actually have it across the world, and then everything is pointing back to their website. So they don't do pop-ups. That was the one thing I was like, you guys don't do pop-up. They're like, yeah, we can't because it's an architectural brand and they just don't have pop-ups. So they have a footer where they're able to capture their leads. And then they also use LinkedIn newsletters as a way to, and they didn't even use newsletters on LinkedIn. I told them about Pinterest, Threads, and LinkedIn newsletters. And those three things just skyrocketed their business. They got more share of voice as a company. We're able to get more local citations beyond just Google and yeah, just Google.
Wow.
Yeah. So those things alone allows us to scope in and then get on Alexa, get on Siri, because if we're not optimizing our search for voice, then there's something wrong because most people be
Right.
like, how do you even do that? Right. But it's not even about how to do it, it's what you're saying wherever you are. So if you're showing up and there's a link pointing back to you, then that link is directly attending to the solution of that query. So for you, when you said female lawyers, I'm like, okay, where are they? They're everywhere. But if we think about where they go to, when they go for seminars, conferences, when they go for those kind of things, where do they mostly hang out? So I go deep into that intelligence instead of it just being surface based. Like, oh, okay, female lawyers, let's Google
Exactly.
that.
Yep.
It goes deeper than that so that you can start getting that first party data.
Exactly. Yep. You're absolutely right. Yep. I can't wait. I want to work with you. Let me see. This is my first time in the room, but I love it. I'm going to your Instagram page now to follow you too. Is the link in the bio or something?
Yeah,
Um,
if you click the link in my bio, you should
okay.
see it because there are three links there. So if you're able to click on the first one, you're gonna see it there. And then on the official website, you'll be able to connect. And that way, yeah, you definitely see where all that is. And you see my name. Like you see, if you click on the homepage, you'll see my name in blue
Yeah.
and on the website right before the YouTube thumbnail. And then when you click on that, it's gonna take you to my LinkedIn profile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing I've learned about LinkedIn is if you have a LinkedIn account and that LinkedIn account is not connected to, hey Cammy, good morning. I see you, D. What's good, D? I'm waiting for your response, D. Please let me know when you get that. Kenyana, thanks for being here. Edmund as well. LinkedIn is huge. Like I learned it the hard way because I was like, I need to use LinkedIn not just for building or just saying things out of the ordinary, but also to get a better response that people can actually, if I make a repost on LinkedIn, actually get a reaction, and that reaction is something that leads to a comment, it leads to a
Yeah.
tag, it leads to a follow, it leads to somebody else discovering you on their network. And it's a huge thing because you're starting to actually connect to the right people who actually need your services. And then you're not selling anymore. Like I don't remember the last time I told someone click this link to book a call. It doesn't happen because it's like I've made it so available. My email is right there in plain sight. So accessing and connecting is not a question. It's whether you want to. So it's kind of like putting the ball in your court instead of you gatekeeping things.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. And I just started using LinkedIn for marketing purposes. It just dawned on me. I wasn't even doing that originally when I was in corporate America. I was going for that, like to meet connections, to get a job, to land a job. But then when I crossed over to the entrepreneur side, I started looking at it differently. I no longer looked at it from that angle. I started looking at it from the marketing perspective, like, oh my gosh, this is everybody right here. It's kind of just like Facebook, like you just go up there. So yeah, I'm still learning. I'm still learning LinkedIn myself, but I definitely want to lock in with you. I just followed you on Instagram, and I'm gonna check this out when I get a break because I'm working right now, but I'm gonna check you out more when I get a break in your accounts and everything.
Thank
And
you.
then
I
how
just
often? You're welcome. How often do you do your rooms? Because I just started back getting it on Clubhouse, but I'm gonna follow the room too. Is this a
oh, welcome back to Clubhouse first
right?
of all.
Yay!
Yeah, yay,
I
yeah.
used to be on Clubhouse heavy. Like I used to be on it every day. I just started getting back up here at the beginning of last week.
Okay.
So,
I've been doing this for shoosh. Thank God for consistency. I've been
yeah.
doing this since consistently on Clubhouse this year, especially the second half of this year. I've been doing daily rooms. So I just didn't do
Wow.
rooms last week because I was traveling and I keep flying. Like October, I may not do as many rooms because I'm also flying.
Yeah.
So I'm always on the go. But if I end up in a city that I feel like I can do a room, for sure I will. But if you catch me in this marketing club, every time there's a room, there's a replay. And
Okay.
I've done rooms even on Sundays. I do SEO Sundays.
Ooh.
It's not every time, but I do it in between time. Like I did it
I
last
need to
Sunday.
be in there. I'm glad
Mhm.
I found you.
Me
I need
too.
to
Me
be
too. I
in
just followed you.
there. Cause I need to learn SEO more. Like it's not really my lane. I'm a UI UXer. And when
Okay.
I yeah, that's my thing. Like I love that. That's what I'm passionate about. But until until I can hire to do the SEO, like I want to set it up the right way for my
Yeah.
clients.
You know what's crazy? As much as I love SEO, I don't even audit manually anymore. I use my
Really?
AI assistant. Yeah, my AI assistant scans the domain, scans everything, gives me a report. I copy that.
Oh, that's
My
smart.
AI sends it as an email. Like and I have a team meeting today with my team. So it's like I have half team, half human, half AI. It's like
Oh,
a
that's
perfect blend.
smart.
Yeah, and it just helps. It changes the whole scope because now I'm like I can be on Clubhouse all day, and in the background we're working. When we turned five, the podcast turned five, August 12th, and I did a 5 hour room here, 5 hours
Wow.
nonstop. Some people were here. David was here, you know, and
Wow.
again, Liverpool was here too, and it
No, I
was
actually missed that room,
you missed
Favour.
it, five
I
hours.
missed it. I missed it. Yeah,
Oh
Wow.
my
I was very
gosh.
busy that day. I was very
Who is
busy
that?
that
Liverpool.
day.
Hey, Liverpool. I followed you too.
Apology.
Did I say it right?
No, no,
Liverpool.
it's Liverpool. It's
Oh,
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Yeah,
Sorry. I'm sorry.
no
Hey,
problem.
Favour, no long time no
Liverpool.
What
see.
up, Cam Cam? What's up? How you?
Oh,
Love.
I'm gonna
I'm
follow
doing good.
Cam
We need to
too.
meet
I'm
up
following
soon since
everybody.
you're in Houston.
Yeah, I'm in Houston. Pull up.
Yeah.
We got to. We got
Yes.
to.
I've been here for
Yeah.
5 months now, so we definitely need to meet up for sure
Five
whenever we're
months? Oh
available.
yeah, we gotta meet up. We can't be in the same city on the same stage. And we're not talk. Nah, we're gonna make that happen for sure. Cammy, welcome for sure. Nah, thank you all so much for joining. This is a dope room, and I love that we're sharing this information together because it's about time that we look at things differently and see, what we're looking at. Where are we connecting the dots? Like, I just did a deep search right now. In the whole world, where female lawyers are really thriving is Ghana. Like, that's within the past five.
Wow.
Yeah, within
And
the past 5 years.
I love the fabric that comes from Ghana. I want to go there so bad.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
love that fabric. I love it.
It's a beautiful country,
Oh my
Kia. It's a
gosh.
beautiful country,
You're
Kia.
from Ghana,
Yeah, it's
right?
very. I'm half. Yeah,
You are?
yeah. I'm half. Yeah, yeah.
What? How is it over there?
It's a beautiful country, wonderful food, wonderful people as well. But it's a very, very beautiful country. I know a lot of African Americans go over to places like Ghana, actually. Um, um, Specifically to go and see Elmina Castle because of obviously going back towards like the slave trade and everything like that. So they do go back to those sort of places. But it's a very beautiful country. To be honest, yeah. So that's what I will say.
I can't wait. I want to go so bad. And I have my passport too. I want to take my kids. I have two kids, a boy and a girl. I want to take them, my daughter and my son. But I for sure want to go. And I love the fabric that comes out of Ghana.
That's what I'm
Are you
talking
talking
about.
about Kente? Talking about
Yes.
Kente? Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I haven't been to Ghana and I'm literally next door. So, but I've been hearing so much about it. I've connected with so many people from there, good friends from there too. And there was even a company we were working with back in 2020. They're called CW Hair Care. I always talk about them because they're beautiful. It's a black owned, family owned business. And the mother and the daughter started the business, and actually I got to see the mother and the daughter when I was almost done with my MBA program, and there was like a school fair, and I saw them. I was like, this is a nice hair product, because the reason why she built that hair product was because she was losing her edges, like because of alopecia. So she was like, how do I solve this problem? All the products in the stores could not work, so she built her own formula and started creating her own hair products, and that just turned from nothing to everything it is today. And she's booming on Amazon and Walmart. She's on Pinterest. She's
Wow.
doing so well. They started off with no subscribers. Now they have over 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. When I started working with them, they were at 6,000 subscribers. By now, the last time I talked to her was early this year, just to check up on her, because even when you work with clients, some people just forget you, and I'm like, nah, these people are part of your life, success story, and they also have things as well. How's their family doing? So I check in with them once in a while. And last time I got on a call with her, she showed me her dashboard, and I was like, you guys have grown to 32,000 subscribers on your email list, because we moved them over from Wix emails to Flowdesk. And that was when Flowdesk was still like young, like back in 2019, 2020. They were not even in public mode. And I was like, you guys use this platform, because in a number of years, you're going to save money. And that's a number thing we do, help you save money as a business, because there's too many overhead costs. So how do we compromise? How do we save? How do we cut the cost, and also use that for marketing? Put that on a billboard, put that into zip code marketing, put that into Pinterest marketing, put that into, guerrilla marketing, however it is you want to put it. That email marketing has to be the core factor, whether it's a QR code you're scanning or something that is landing to a page that you have. Those are things that you have to look at. So those are the things that we've been doing. Companies like those are thriving, and there are so many others. And we've talked about Flowdesk so much that now we're actually talking to the Flowdesk staff, and we're gonna have an interview on my show, the We Don't Play podcast show, so that we can talk about Flowdesk. And now they sent me an email wanting to pay me for some article work that I'm excited about, because I'm now in pretty much like their community list. It's a whole different thing now. Thank you. And I'm like, okay, this is new. Like, I didn't even approach it. You know how people say, I want to be an influencer. How do I sign up? I did not even do that. All I did was tell my clients, hey, this is what you need. And I'm sure on their dashboard, they're like, how many clients have we referred to this company? Probably over 50. Because last year we worked with about 95 clients alone. So if we're giving about, and not every client is going to need a Flowdesk account or an email account. Yes, some of them may do, some of them may not at the time, but we've realized that when it's needed and it's something that is part of your business success flow, then we always recommend something that will help you save money. Because I have a client right now, you're talking about Clavio. I'm about to move her out of Clavio. She just won 60,000 in grants, just 3 grand. She's won 60 grand in grants, and she was on Fox News. She told me about it 2 days ago. So yesterday we got on a call at 7 a.m. and I said, hey, you want to start teaching women how to make, how to get grants? Because it's kind of like, it sounds like Greek, but she's doing it. She applies for grants, she gets them, she applies for them, she gets them. She's put on Fox News. So she's doing so well. She's selling in Abu Dhabi, she's selling in London, she's selling in the US. And I told her, hey, how much are you spending on email marketing? $80. Why are you spending $80 a month? And I was like, nah, we got to cut that cost down, right? Yeah, there are so many other platforms, but I said, hey, let's move over to Flowdesk. Not because I'm telling them what to do, but I've seen the success of Flowdesk when it comes to revenue, because that's the bottom line, right? If your revenue is cash flow positive and you are sending emails that are actually reaching people's inbox, then that's it. Because for me, what sold me is that Flowdesk uses, or they partnered with Amazon SES. You can Google that, Amazon SES. When you Google that, you'll see what that means. And when it comes to deliverability, Amazon is top number one in the company. If you look at the companies, Amazon is big on delivery, big on convenience, big on speed. So if your email is on speed mode, is crazy. If you have a Shopify account, even better, you can integrate your Shopify account to Flowdesk and people can shop right through the email. And then if you have a YouTube video, there's a thumbnail there. I mean, there are other platforms. Don't get me wrong. Other platforms are great. But when I look at price, quality, efficiency, speed, and professionalism, it knocks it out. And that's why I'm even doing email segmentation today, because everybody would say, okay, let's get leads, right? Let's run ads to get leads. Great. These leads are in our funnel, they're in our list. Okay, then what? Do we have an analytics dashboard that can talk about what we're doing? And Flowdesk has gone even deeper into this segmentation. And this is why I even created this room so you can hear this with Flowdesk, right? Yes, you can segment your emails, but what's even better, they call it magic links. And what are magic links? Let's say I send an email today and say, hey, here are 3 podcast episodes that's going to talk about 3 different topics, right? I've sent it to everyone on the list, everyone in the segment, right? What happens with other platforms is that when you send an email as a segment, yes, you're sending emails within those segments, but that's where it stops. Is it possible for you to bridge or merge one segment to the other segment by consent? Not by you forcing them into a segment, but by themselves opting in to that segment within a bridged gap. And what do I mean? It's a magic link. So if I send you 3 episodes and I say, well, episode 1 is about real estate, episode 2 is about food, and episode 3 is about travel, right? Those 3 kind of work together in a way. Real estate, food, travel. They're indirectly connected within whatever capacity. If you go into an open house, you're going to see food in a real estate building. If you're traveling, you want to eat some food. You like to see buildings, so like there has to be some type of intercorrelation between the 3, right? Now, if I know that my audience is very big on professional development, they're big on, stuff. Like I just want to get to know my audience better, right? In each of those podcast listen now links or buttons that I'm going to send, I'm going to add something called a magic link. And that magic link will either allow me to add to a segment, add to a workflow, or add to some more substance. So, what does that mean? If I click listen to this episode on real estate, that means I've segmented you from just the normal list you're on into a segment that just says real estate episodes. So now I know out of this thousands of people, these 5 people, these 50 people, these 500 people, these 5,000 people on the list are looking for real estate information or looking for real estate topics, right? Because when somebody's receiving an email, what they click on is what they care about. If you get a newsletter and you have 5 different things, you're probably going to click on all of them just to be curious. But if you want to spend time, you're probably going to click on 1 or 2 that really make the most sense to you, right? And then the amount of time you spend on that page also matters. So it's not just, oh, sending you an email and then you receive the email, you click it and that's where it ends. No, there has to be a flow. That flow has to be so seamless that if somebody comes tomorrow and they see the same email, they won't feel like they're left out. Because when you're sending emails, right, you're sending emails to improve your CTR. And I think instead of, I know we all know what CTR means, right? Or if we don't, it means click through rate. But I put CTR there because I want to say improve your character. That's what CTR stands for in this context. Improve your character, your CTR, because your characteristics as a brand is what's going to make the person click through to pages that you are controlling or pages that you are publishing, right? If you send an email and tell them click here, that is something you're telling them to do. That's a call to action. You know, we always throw this word call to action, audience, know your audience, know, like, trust. Like, those words are thrown around like water, right? But if you really look at the substantial value of a call to action, it's a call. It's not a stall. It's not a okay, wait. It's not a are you sure? It's a call. Like, you pick up the call. If the president calls you on the phone, you're gonna pick up. If your boss calls you on the phone, you're gonna pick up. If your mom calls you on the phone, you're gonna pick up, right? You're going to answer the call because that call is important to you. So if that call to action is not important to the segment, then what are you sending? The wrong message. That equals to unsubscribe. That equals to marked as spam. It leads to just confusion. And then before you know it, it's done. You can't get them back. You can't win them back, right? Because you lost them at the point you're supposed to gain their trust. So if you're sending, if you have jackets, socks, and belts, and then you start sending people who need socks, belts, then there's something wrong because now they're going to unsubscribe because I signed up for socks and now you put me in the category of belts. Why? You know, those little things, we kind of forget them because, oh yeah, everyone's on our list, we signed up for this, but we're going to send you that just to kind of push the button or push the envelope. We talked about mailbox earlier, right? When you're pushing the envelope, you're really asking, like, imagine sliding an envelope from door to door or from like table to table or from side to side, right? You're going to hear it's going to like move through, right? That sound is is a push, right? Because it's like, hey, push to open, right? Push to start, right? You're creating these things that allow people to connect with you. When you look at the way Apple, Target, uh, Tesla, even Lucid, there's a car called Lucid, really nice car. If you look at the way they send emails or the way they write things, they're very small. Explore, discover, shop. Like, those words sound very simple, but they have so much power because instead of saying get your 10% off, like, it sounds like, man, what? Okay, all right, I'm pushing it. All right, let's get it. I mean, it's clear messaging, but how about they discover that when they click the word discover? Doesn't that feel better? Like if I click discover and then I discover that this is a 10% off, I'll feel more enlightened because it feels like there's an element of surprise, right? It's not like, oh, get 10% off Black Friday, 50% off, boom, boom, boom. Like imagine if I don't even talk about a sale on that Black Friday email. But when you click on that link, you get all the sale points, you get all the touch points. You might give a hint, but because they're clicking on that link, it's because they trust the brand, right? So when you trust a brand, you trust the sound, right? And that sound is going to resonate with you as a business if you're thinking about long-term improvement, right? Long-term improvement means that you're listening. The word listen and the word silent are the same letters. They're just scrabbled differently. So if you're creating a world that is going to give people a reason to connect with you further, then you have to think about segmenting people in a way that matters to them, right? And when they start getting segmented correctly, you start feeling like, okay, there's a lot of connection here. Oh, we like the same color purple. Oh, we like the same color red. Oh, we like the same shoe. Oh, we like coffee too. Then you start realizing, oh, this is cool, right? Somebody connected with me on LinkedIn, sent me three messages. I didn't even notice there were three. He sent me one in June, sent me one in August, and tried for the last time in September. And he was like, if I don't get you, I don't know. And I looked at this message. I was like, okay, let me actually check his profile. Let me see if it's really about what he says. And I checked and I was like, okay, this guy is, I mean, he's in sales, but I see what he's trying to do because people just ignore those sales pitches, right? And I was like, this sounds like a sales pitch. But I think when he started messaging me the third time, I knew, okay, this is not an automation. This is a real person trying to get in contact with me because I could read through it. I could read through it. I said, I'm not going to respond to this. I don't have time to get on a 15-minute call for you to pitch me something that I didn't ask for. Like, my time is valuable and I'll respect your time by declining. That's really how it is these days because I don't want to hear about a product that yeah is great, but is it serving humanity? Is it helping more people? Is it an easier pathway? If it's not, then I'm not in. So that's why I'm full on flow desk, right? And now I'm going to connect with this guy today to see what he has to say, right? Because it's a good connection. But at the same time, I've seen with LinkedIn, with all these platforms, if you're not improving your CTR, you're not improving your character, you're not going to improve your click through rate because your click through rate is determined by what people are seeing that they're going to click. Like it clicks faster when the message is clearer. It clicks faster, like the message clicks faster when the message is clear after the fact that they've understood what your brand is about, right? And you have to think about how to stand out. So, what have I done to improve my character? I'll give you guys three things, and I'd love to talk to Liverpool, Kia, Cami, and anyone in the room as well that wants to, connect on this. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this too. Hey, Carrie, good to have you here. Good morning. You know that if you want to improve your click through rate, try this. Number one, try to send your emails, your subject titles. If you've never tried this before, try it out. Try and send your emails in all lowercase. This is probably the first time you're hearing this, or if you've heard this before, try it. Go ahead, Kia. I want to hear your thoughts. Let's talk about it.
Now it's funny. It's funny you said that because I was doing that, but I didn't know why. Can you tell why? Why you do that?
Okay.
I noticed that, but I don't know why.
Yes. So,
That's why I'm like, oh my gosh.
yeah, because
He's absolutely right.
I've kind of studied this thing because I think it's because I have a science graduate degree and I just love just breaking things down, like from the top down. And it hit me. And I was like, because I like to think critically and I like to make like decisive making decisions, if that makes sense, that leads to the right places. So I was like, huh, okay, I'm sending emails. One, nobody likes to receive an email that's all caps, right? So what is the binary code of 0 and 1? Like if you look at 0 and 1, if it's all caps, then it's all lowercase. Like that's how I think. It's crazy. But I was like, okay, if everybody doesn't like being talked to or talked at, if I wrote this title in this room and everything was caps lock, some of you might get offended. You'd be like, why is he screaming at us? Like, okay, we get the message. Like, some people may not even get in the room just because it's all caps. Some people may get in the room because it's like, hey, attention, right? So it's like, it's very subjective. But if I'm sending you an email, it's in all caps, then because I'm thinking about the technical SEO, it's not just about the writing. It's about two things. Pixels, because words have pixels. That's why when you get an email, it says your email is 3 megabytes. You have to buy more storage because your words are pixels and pixels have weight. Like when you have a photo, when they tell you what pixel size it is, that pixel size determines the weight of the image, right? So when you're considering how you write, right, the writing is also affecting the pixels. So if all caps is no, then all lower caps or all lowercase rather is yes. Because if I send you a message and say good morning in all caps, and then tomorrow I send you a message good morning in all lowercase, the way you're going to respond back to me is going to be different at both in both mornings, right? Between both mornings, because you're either going to see it and respond back and shout back at me, or you're just going to whisper, right? There's going to be a difference and that response you give is what now allows you to continue the conversation. If I say, well, I love your shoes, I love your hair, oh, where do you get it at? Where do you do? Oh, you smell good. What are you wearing? Like those conversations start to bring in personality. You're not even talking business at this point. This is human to human interaction, right? So when that starts to happen, it's like, huh, okay, this is a formula. So I already know, and we should know this too, that email, electronic mail, is HTML, hypertext markup language. So if it's hypertext markup language, when you use, like back in the day, Microsoft Word, you use bold, italics, subscript, underline. Those are formats. They still work today. We just don't use them as much. When you write articles, when you write blogs, when you write newsletters, when you write podcast shows, even in your podcast show notes, you can actually put something in bold. Like that's going to enhance your podcast. Like people don't know those things. So it's HTML. You're playing with words. You know how people say, words, words are real? They are real because the power of the tongue is real, right? Life and death and the power of the tongue. So when you speak, you're speaking in a sequence, right? So that sequence is happening in motion. So when you now send an email in all lowercase, you're reducing the number of pixels. It's like you're creating it's like it's either I fly a helium balloon in the air, or I'm going to fly a balloon that has a lot of density that's going to make me come back down like a parachute, right? So do you want a parachute or do you want a helium balloon? You're going to go up either way, but which one's going to get up faster? Which is going to look like a paper plane, and which one's going to look like a steel plane, right? Or a plane that's made out of a material that's not paperweight or lightweight. So if you're sending an email, then the pixel size matters. You know how to say size matters? The pixel size of the email matters, because when you send that email, when they say send it between 40 to 50 characters, they say there's a reason why. Because when you're sending a signal has strength. So if that strength, if I have a short circuit or power, something's going to happen, right? So if I'm sending a signal to your email and that email has lowercase, it means that I'm bypassing all the noise. I'm bypassing all the bridges, because email, when you get into the updates, when you type in free this, free that, complimentary this, sign this, 20% off, you end up in the promotions tab, because those are triggers. Those are triggers, percentages, all those things are triggers. So even sometimes if you want to use it, I kind of do this with testing. Instead of putting a zero, put an O, right? Like play around with it, y'all. That's why I love science. Just break it down. So when you change that segment, it changes the perspective and the reader starts to scan. Because when you do psychology and marketing, people scan, they don't read. They scan. They will scan the image, they will scan the topic, they'll scan the text, they'll scan everything, and then they want to read what is emphasized on text. So when you now emphasize your statements in your subject lines and you use lowercase, then you're pretty much creating a paperweight email that now increases your click-through rate, increases your open rate, increases your click rate in the email, and ultimately you stand out as a brand because everybody's talking in capital letters and you're talking. You sound like you might be a little bit, like everyone's talking in caps and you feel like you're on the lowercase, but you're actually the person that's actually standing out because you're standing from the crowd. Does that make sense?
Yes, I love how you just broke that down like that. Do you write music? You sound like an artist.
Yeah, it's gonna be 2 decades next year.
You see, I know I'm an artist. That's how I got into writing, copywriting emails because I'm a songwriter first. So I think because of that, it really helps you. Like, that's amazing. But what I really realized, most songwriters are in like the copywriting, email marketing industry, ghostwriting, all of that. Like, it all kind of goes together because you're used to connecting with people through your words. So you know how to talk to people through email too.
Exactly. You're so right on that. One great person is Neo. I got to work with Neo. I don't tell these stories much. I got to work with Neo back in
Wait, which Neo? Are you talking about
2015,
Neo Davis?
like the actual Neo
Oh,
artist,
artist.
musical artist.
Oh, okay.
You're joking, Favour. You
Wow.
must
Go to
be
my yeah,
joking.
go to my LinkedIn
Wow.
profile and check
Okay.
my experiences. You'll see the picture there. Like I put the media file there. We took probably two pictures together on 2 different days. The night he came and then the day he performed because I was working with Coca-Cola and we were doing a musical show. I was the assistant music director for that show. It's called Coke Studio and I'm in music because I signed up as a drummer because I've been playing the drum since I was 6 years old, self-taught. And I was like, I want to drum for this because we were literally,
Wow.
yeah.
You
So
are
Neo was the
amazing.
vibe.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. You are, hold on. Hold on. You are a little star here. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad I came into this room. I really need to connect with you. Wait a minute. Go ahead. Finish your story. I am amazed.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't talk about this much. I always hate on SEO part. I don't go
It's
that
crazy how I
far,
knew you were an
but
artist. I didn't even know that. I knew.
yeah, I've been in music for a long time.
I
I
can
actually
tell.
paused. I paused music because I mean I still play in my church drums. I still make music. I still create loops. Made jingles for podcast shows. I would create an academy and help people build their own podcasts and start their own original music composition. And yeah, I've done it. I've really done it. So now I'm coming back to music because I've been quiet. I've just been building my business, and I'm like, yeah, let me help more people because music is great, but I want to help lives. I want to save lives. I want to help families. I want to yeah, music. I'm always gonna have this. This is God's gift that He's given me. So I always find a way to bring
Yes.
it back in. So I said, you know what? Let me channel my energy into SEO, digital marketing, copywriting, because it's the same
Oh, you
thing. It's just
sound
it's not a
just like me. Oh my
no,
gosh.
it's
I'm
not a
over
you
here
know what I'm
about to
saying.
throw my phone.
It's literally the only difference is that there's no melody. It's just words. So if
Yes.
I take up,
Oh my
you
gosh, I'm
know.
about to throw my phone. I'm about to throw my phone. Oh my gosh, I'm over here like, oh my gosh, you sound just like me. Oh my gosh, I literally have people begging me to start back rapping again, but I'm like, no. And I came too. I came over here to like hide off in email marketing because I'm like, it's the same thing. It's
Mhm.
words, it's just no melody. It's the same thing. I'm talking to people. I know how to connect with people through my words. So it's the same thing. I'm like, that's the next best industry. If I don't want to go big with the music, I could go big with email marketing. It's like the next thing. It's like they're almost identical.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's
And
like the subject line is like the hook.
hmm there you
Yeah.
go. Like like your favorite song, you love it because of the name of the song, because of the lyrics in the song, because of the melody of the song. Like the song has lyrics and the lyrics have meanings and the meaning has substance. So when you look at the bottom line, it's like, what is this? That's why there's a time that Neo was in the dressing room and I talked to him like just a little bit because everyone was busy and I just knocked on the door. I talked just a quick little bit, and just hearing him respond back, because he's written so many songs, so many songs out there. Like, he's a songwriter, like we all know him, right? So just by listening to him, and he's like, yo man, whatever you're doing, just keep going, and just keep being original. Like, that's one thing he told me, like, just be original, because when you're original, you can't there's no other copy. I mean, we're all original, but we don't own our originality, because we feel like, what does other people think? Whatever they think, I don't care, because somebody is going to care one day. It may not be you, it may be the next person next to you, but that law of reciprocity is by showing love to everyone, including the people who don't care. So it's like, hey, not everyone's going to like this song, not everyone's going to like this person, not everyone's going to like this thing. So you have to consider yourself in a way, and push it further than where it is. There's so many things that you have to consider, and you have to build it based on, like, it's like a Midas touch. So if you are connecting those dots, like, it has to make sense. And sometimes it might be slow response, it might be delayed response, it might be, you're waiting for centuries from the person. But I think at the same time, it's like you're expecting good things, because there's nothing done. If you're doing something good, then your heart will tell. Like, if it's a bad thing, then it will look like it's malicious, and then it's just a whole mess. But you want to keep that authenticity even in the midst of the mess. Right? You have to also still stay transparent, authentic, and that also gives you that level-headed field. So it's a really good way to look into it as well. So yeah, that originality is a big thing. Improve your CTR, improve your character. That is the way it should go. And I think the beginning of segmenting is the beginning of understanding. Because when you start understanding what they need, then the need becomes the fulfillment, right? And it's like there's so many things to cover, and it's like, okay, this is covered, so why isn't this covered, why isn't that covered? Because the cover ring may not be enough or substantial enough to feel like a cover. When you think about a cover, if you're putting a cover on top of you, it may feel like a cover, but it may not be fulfilling, because the cover doesn't have the depth, it doesn't have the weight, it doesn't have the substance and the material, the texture. You want to feel like you're being hugged by a pillow, right? Because you want to feel that extension. So if you're sending an email without that extension of a hello or good morning, or sending it within those lower cases, then it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Hey, Carrie. Oh, Carrie, I am going to give you a call today. Carrie, I'm going to give you a call today. I'm just seeing you in the room. Welcome to the room. Thanks for being here. I'll give you a call today. You have to look at it from a big standpoint. And the standpoint you're looking at it from is a holistic standpoint, which adds value to the bottom line, which is how you communicate. Because if I don't send an email, I don't remember the last time I didn't send an email in a week. Sometimes emails can flood, you might not see them. Like, things happen. But I think when you're looking at the segmenting from a broadcast standpoint, you're also looking at what they're receiving. And if they like what they're seeing too, because you might be sending the wrong email to the right person. And that might be a problem, because you might be looking at it like, okay, this person maybe has the same interest, but this email is not in context to what they subscribe to. So that also allows you to let people know, hey, this is what I'm doing. I like to put a PS in the bottom of the email. And people always like that PS, because it's like whatever you say in that PS is 100% contrary, but also 100% relatable. Because it's 100% contrary, because that PS is telling you something that's coming, something that hasn't been announced yet, something that is actually on a cliffhanger. And then it's also relatable because it's brand worthy. It's brand contextual, right? So there are things you have to look at and see, okay, where are we connecting the dots? How are we connecting with people? And are these segments working? Because a segment doesn't mean, oh, okay, these are people who came from LinkedIn, these are people who came from events, these are people who came from Facebook. Yeah, so what? These are people first. These people have more feelings and more intentions and more dreams, more goals than just being a LinkedIn segment, or just being a Pinterest segment, or just being an event segment, right? So those segments allows you to get closer to the goal because now you're actually allowing people to feel closer to you, right? And when you send that email, send it out in a way that they can really see it. If you put out images in your email, great, but the chances of you getting in the inbox are slim. Why? Because the inbox is paperweight. The inbox is paperweight, it's lightweight. It means that it's HTML, it's text only. If you use images, you can use images, but use them sparingly, right? When you upload an image to your email list, no, let me say this again. When you upload an image to your email campaign, do you ever check the size of that image? Do you even add alt text to the image that you're adding to that email segment? Does that feature, does that CRM have the alt feature on? Flowdesk does, because Flowdesk will tell you at the bottom of that image to describe the image. You know when an image doesn't load on an email, what is the thing that says at the very top left? It says image. So it says image because you didn't update the image with alt text. That's a technical SEO default, right? So if you don't rename that alt text and leave it as image, the person who can open that image in their email box doesn't even know what they're looking at because it's a plain box. It's a blank box, right? Until you click show images, then it will show. But for the screen reader, for alt text, for SEO, for email deliverability, for excessive success, if I can put it like that, you have to optimize those things. So your images should not be 5 MB because now you're dragging that person down. I don't remember the last time you probably checked the image size of the file that you uploaded. Is it a PNG? Is it a WebP? Is it a JPEG? It starts to get very complicated. But the whole essence of you doing this is to ask yourself, what can you do to save it? You may not have an Adobe, you know, suite where you can just go to Photoshop and do it. You can go to a website like TinyPNG. You can go to compressor.io. These are free sites that you can literally change your image size, get a smaller size in the kilobytes format, not in the megabytes format. And then when you do that, your email has a size. So when you send an email and your email is 20 kilobytes and your competitor's email is 200 kilobytes, who's going to win? My 20 kilobytes can get you through 10 emails that will save you space, the consumer, the receiver, compared to 10 200 kilobyte messages that will make me have to unsubscribe because now it feels like it's a burden. So you see where I'm going with this? I'm not even talking about the email content. I'm talking about the technical value. So when you start thinking about your email and your segments, think about what you're sending. Yeah, use GIFs, use pictures, use thumbnails, use buttons, use all those things, but use them sparingly and also don't use them to the point of excessiveness that it makes it feel like, oh, this is now too much, right? You have to think about those text formats as well. So we'd love to hear from you, Kia. What are your thoughts when it comes to that, especially when it looks at, development from a technical standpoint?
Oh my gosh, I love that. You want to know? I, as especially as a developer, I always put the alt text on the images. It's crazy you said that. I always do that, and nobody told me to do that. Like, I never took a class for any of this. So that's why I really admire this and everything that you're saying, because I never went to school for this. I didn't have time because I had kids, and life was just life. And so I couldn't sit in a room. So I really like this space in this room that you created, because listening to you is bringing so much confirmation for me and why I decided to do the things that I do. But it's so weird. It's crazy. I never took a class or listen to a YouTube channel of somebody saying this, but I do all of the things that you're saying because it makes sense to do. Like how I'm thinking about it, I can't make no mistakes. So if I see any empty spaces, I'm putting text there. Why would I leave that blank? And I'm thinking about that's going to help like people search it or find it on Google. That's how I'm thinking, because is that right? Like, so the alt text image, does it help also with off page SEO and people finding you on Google?
100%.
Okay,
And
that's what
and
I figured. So why would you leave it
mhm.
blank? Like, that's retarded.
People leave it blank.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I think people leave it blank for two reasons. They leave it blank because they don't know what to say, and they also leave it blank because they don't know how much to say.
That's when I go to
Because
Chat
something
GPT. She do everything. That's my auntie. She do everything. I go right there and let her. I just type in. I'll type in whatever the page like for my clothing line. I'll type in that product and then my label. Put all the important words in it and say create a meta with a meta description or for the page or for the alt image and let her do her thing and copy and paste it right in there.
Exactly. You know, it's easy to do, especially if you're telling it to describe the image. Because if you're describing an image, if I tell you describe this picture in a museum, what would you say in 60 seconds that will make me know what you're talking about if my eyes were closed? And if I open my eyes in 60 seconds, would that be the same picture I'm looking at in front of me? That's the imagery we have to think about creating, right? The simplicity, the format, the availability, the accessibility, the relationship, the contextual value, and most importantly, the brand archetype. How do you even respond to that? Do you say the words? How do you say them? It's not what you say, it's how you say things. We all know that. Communication is key. We all know that. But the key to communication is in the context and in the delivery of the information. So when you deliver information with images that are bigger than life, then yeah, what's going to happen when they can't open your email, right? Because you can't do it that way. I literally I just got a LinkedIn update right now, and I reposted something on LinkedIn. Someone said, because I follow marketer tips, marketing isn't about making the sale today. It's about introducing the consumer to the brand. So
Exactly. Yeah.
so they will buy it in the future. The future is tomorrow. It's the next second. People say future, oh, 20 years. Future is literally in 10 minutes. It's in 1 second. Future is tomorrow. It's now. Right? So, and I reposted and I said, this is the simplest way to say it without even saying a lot. And I didn't say a lot either. Because when you think about marketing, everyone thinks, oh, that email is supposed to equals to a sale. When in actual fact, they don't even know who you are, what you do. Like the person who signed up to your email list today, does that person know as much as the person who has been on your email list 2 years ago or 2 years in? It's like going to school for the first time and you're entering a new classroom and everybody knows each other and you don't know anybody. How do you feel? Right? And then when you're graduating, you're with your homies, your girlfriends, you're taking photos, you're going crazy because you built a relationship from the ground up. Nobody just started with, oh, that's my bestie. There had to be some type of icebreaker, right? Relationship wise, family wise, otherwise. So why are we treating email marketing like ghosts? Like, oh, I haven't talked to my email list in 5 years. They'll be okay. No, they're not. And then when you come back on Black Friday, what are you going to tell them? Hello. you know so you have to look at this as at a bigger standpoint, like how are you communicating? Happy Labor Day, happy Christmas, happy Sunday. Like say those things and you realize that those emails they actually value those more than your sale, than your workshop, than your course, because they'll buy it. But if they're not going to buy it from someone they don't know or they don't like, right? So that has to improve based on how you deliver. So when you deliver in lowercase, you're not shouting, you're talking. But when you deliver in capital letters, you're screaming, you're alerting. It's like help, SOS. Like SOS is not in small caps. It's not in lowercase. It's in caps lock. Lock. There's a reason why it's called caps lock. It's locked in the capital. Like you hear the words that you say, it has to match. I don't know. I think it's because yeah, like you said, I'm in music, so I really read words or read in between the lines of words, and it's just something that's musical. But when we think about the English value, the English connotation, the English vocabulary, the English relationship between what you're saying and what they're receiving, it's like a sender receiver feedback that is going on a loop. So it has to make sense for the feedback to loop in correctly. So I love that you mentioned that, Kia. D, thanks for joining the room today. We'd love to hear from you. Thoughts on the conversation? Good morning.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Okay. I had to take this my dog out. Well, actually, I'm dog sitting, so I had to take care of that first. I'm sorry. Hold up. Just give me a second. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, I just wanted to speak from my point of view. Of course, I'm new to e-commerce retail, and I'm doing everything by myself. So I know one of the things you say is you don't know what you don't know, and so there's so many things to learn on the back end. And yes, I would see the alt text attached to the images, and then I've also learned that you're supposed to like name your images. Well, I didn't know any of that starting out. Yes, I see where it says alt text, but I think when I had started, even though it's been a while, chat gpt was just it wasn't it was just up and coming, so I didn't know to enter the odd text in the images. As long as I can get the image there and plug it in my website, I was like, cool. on, on to the next. Okay, what else? But knowing what I know now, it's like now I have to course create a course. What is it? Back course, recourse. I got to go back, and it's ugly, because I have all these images, that I have to rename. And I have all these images in my website that needs alt text. It's dirty work, So I just wanted to make a comment. That's one of the reasons why I didn't enter the information, because I didn't know how important it would be to my brand or my company. That's it. That's all I
Mm.
wanted to share.
Ooh, that's big. Because I remember when you sent me something about, you talked about images. Was that in line with like how it's being seen or how big they were or how the
Yeah,
reputation?
well, yeah, they were I noticed my website was slowing down, and my images weren't, forever circling like they were, and me being, I used to be a buyer, a customer, I used to love the shop. So with me, I still remember these things. And if I was to go to somebody's website and I see the images aren't loading fast enough for my me being impatient because I'm an anxious shopper, I would leave the website. So I was like, why are my images loading slowly? So that's what, one of the things, that's the alarm set off. Like, I was like, why are my images, are so slow to load? And yeah, I kind of figured that my images aren't the size they should be for the website that I chose, or for the theme that I chose to be my website. So now I had to resize my images. But what I did was, which I didn't tell you, but what I did was I got a whole new theme. So I'm just starting off from scratch. I'm naming every single image that I put in there. I'm reading to see what size images go for the product, goes for the banner. So it's like I'm starting all over again, but clean. So I don't have to retrack and do the things that I should have done from day one. It's ugly work.
I know what you mean. I totally get it. And I think it's because when you're choosing a theme, and most times also people do this too, is you're looking at the aesthetics instead of looking at the technical. Because when you buy a theme or you download a theme, that theme was developed by somebody. And if that person did not apply SEO or have any knowledge of SEO, and you're just buying a Shopify theme, and then you're not looking at the SEO score of that Shopify theme, then you're kind of like shooting yourself in the foot in a
Hmm.
way, because you're starting on a sinky sand. You're starting on like the sand is a quicksand, if I can put it like that, because it's not you're not on solid foundation. You're just kind of like seeing what's going to happen. But when you change the theme and you notice that even your speed, when you look at the speed of your Shopify theme, it's different. That also tells you internally or indirectly that this theme was optimized for search. That's why even when people use WordPress sites, Yoast SEO is a great, plugin, because it's optimized for search. And how you know that is because when you look at the sitemap of a WordPress site, if your sitemap is not Yoast, or I would say maybe the other one is things are called all in one. If you're not, Yoast is usually the best from what I've seen long term, because that's what large corporations use. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if you're using Yoast and it's really giving you a different sitemap, then that Yoast is talking to the search engines on your behalf. So if you're using the Shopify theme and that theme is not theming, if I can put it like that,
Yeah,
with the people or with the connections or with the search engines, then it's like you're just going down below. So when you're uploading your images, keep them in kilobytes, not in megabytes, because those megabytes will add up and that's what slows you down, which increases your bounce rate, which now gets you off from page one to page five. And then you wonder what's going on. And it's not about the content, it's about the context.
absolutely. Yeah, the whole thing is like a cookie cutter. That's all it is. And then you have to be the developer. And I use air quotes.
It's okay. You know, that it's something that we learn, and I'm glad that you're seeing it too, because it's discovery. I think for me that's
Yeah.
the joy of building, because imagine if you knew everything, you it wouldn't be fun. Like imagine if you were winning every game. It won't be fun. You have to lose sometimes just because it kind of sets you back, because there's a time for everything. There's a time to sow, a time to reap. So when you're looking at all these things, it's the process, because by this time next year, D, you won't be thinking about these things because you're past that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's really it's a mind thing. And it is about timing. Like if this was to come to me last year, I probably would be panicking. But now I know I've been in this field for so long. I know as an entrepreneur, you always have to pivot. Always. Don't get down and out. Just pivot. It's about your perspective and just moving in a different direction.
Exactly. Exactly. And I believe that if somebody looks at email marketing long term, the major things that you should be thinking about for your email marketing is, can I even get to the point where I can talk to the founder or somebody that works at this company? That's what I usually do. That's something I've been doing for a while now. And now I'm in communication with Flowdesk. Like I've talked to probably four of the staff members, and now we're gonna get on a podcast show. Honeybook, yesterday I was talking with them and planning to be on their Honeybook podcast show, because you know, they reached out to me to do a survey, a paid survey on how to improve Honeybook, because I've been using it for 3 years plus, and it's like, okay, what is this guy doing? And now they were even wowed with what I'm doing, because they don't know everybody. That's why they got on that call. And I go directly to the company. I've never talked to MailChimp, whoever works at MailChimp. I've never talked to Active Campaign. I would, but I'm not using those platforms. And if clients come and they use those platforms and they're happy with it, fine. But when I ask them how much they're spending and I tell them how much they would be spending, it's a game changer. Like I was talking to one of them that uses Klaviyo. She says, because she has a lot of followers, right? And the one I told you that just won 60K in grants, I mean 3 grants. She spends about $80 a month on Klaviyo. That's about $960 a year. Why not spend? And that's because they charge you based on the number of contacts you have. So the more contacts you have, the more you have to pay. So it's like your overhead costs are not going down, it's going up. I said, hey, instead of doing that, instead of paying 960 a year, why not pay 228 a year for $19 a month, 50% off with in my affiliate link. And even if you were to pay the full price next year, you're paying 456 out of 960, which is 47%. Like if you look at the difference, you could put that into marketing, into branding, into testing. Those are some things that you look at and you're like, okay, is this really the right platform? And it is the right platform. So I said, okay, instead of spending 1,000 a year, spend 250 a year for really pushing it. And that's a no-brainer. And you're getting unlimited emails. Flowdesk is beautiful. Unlimited emails, unlimited workflows, unlimited everything, and you're getting it delivered right into the inbox. When you send that one email, like my highest email open rate is 79.8%. That, and my highest click rate has been, I think, 35%. And this is like to a list of over 7,000 people, because the higher you get with the number of email subscribers, the lower the average. So if you're still maintaining that high average, that also says a lot about your emails and how people are receiving them. So, and I don't remember the last time I said, here's 10% off. like it's value. Here's a podcast, here's an article, here's an interview, here's a blog, here's a story, here's a video, here's this, here's that. And then all of a sudden, hey, are you doing this? Hey, let's connect. Hey, virtual coffee. Like it turns, instead of me selling the product's already on sale, if that makes sense, because it's on sale, because it's on brand, because there's a communication within the context of the topic. So when you see an email, that email is going to tell you about things, and people read those emails. And the thing about emails is, if people can remember the subject line of your email, you're doing well. Because if you're sending emails every week or every other month, if they can remember what your email is and literally go to the search bar of your email and type in maybe a keyword from your subject title, that's gold, because not everyone's going to remember your email address. Even though you're a big brand, yeah, but who goes on email search box and types in Apple? I'll type in iPhone before I type in Apple, because I want to look, is it the iPhone 13 or is it the 15? Is it the 16? Because you're going to search based on context, not based on brand. That's why Pinterest is 97% unbranded search. So the more you're able to see where that falls in line, it helps your business grow longer and faster. So that was a great point, D. Thanks for bringing that in. And I'm excited that, you're having those changes. I can't wait to talk to you about that too, offline. Carrie, good morning. Good to have you here. And I think it's the first time you're coming on stage here. So thank you so much for connecting. And Carrie's amazing, y'all. And we got to talk. We have a lot to catch up on. So I'll pass it to you, Carrie.
Good morning. I was thinking about you and then sorry, I just finished my brunch. I haven't been on Clubhouse in forever. And so I thought of you and then I thought of Clubhouse and I thought, I'll just check out Clubhouse and I came in and there you are. And I love this room. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Appreciate you. It's so great to have you here. And there's so much that we can look at long term for the value that we bring when we send emails. It's a whole personality. It's a whole thing. Like anytime you send an email, actually, let me ask this question. I want to know if I'm alone or I'm not the only one in this room. When you send an email to your list, put a one in the chat if you feel nervous, anxious, or just like butterfly, and then put a two in the chat if you don't feel anything. Let's see. Just put a one in the chat if you feel some type of way when you're about to send an email. Like, is this the right email? When you're mass sending it out to everybody, and put a two if you don't feel anything. Okay. I'm guessing. Okay, before I guess the wrong thing. Okay, so the people who don't respond probably don't send emails. That's my assumption, because feedback is important. So I'm not gonna assume, but I'll get the sample. Okay. So 1-1, Ruth also said 100%. Right. Me too. Because it's like you don't know what's gonna happen on the other side of the email. It's always like, what is going to happen? So I want to pass it to you, D. Um, what made you say one? And then I'll come back to you, Carrie, on one.
Oh yeah, so I put it in the chat. It's that I know about the bounce rate. It's everything in the back of what actually happens after you send the email. So I don't think I'm nervous about sending the email. Is that I'm nervous about what's going to happen after. Like, is it going to be have a high bounce back rate? Are people are not going to open? Is it going to go to spam? So those are the things that make me nervous. From not it's not so much sending the emails. It's about the after effect.
Okay, that's fair. I feel the same way too. And I've even explicitly told them in one of my emails, I think this was last year, I said, as I'm sending this email to you, I think that was the first line, I'm cringing. Like I had to express myself, because I was like, hey guys, this is how I'm feeling. Because you'll never know. And they might just find it funny. You see, like D laughed at it. So I would say it explicitly, and that's what builds that relationship. Because that's what the connection is for, email. You can't say that on Instagram. You're just gonna post away. No one cares. You're just going to post it. But on that email, you're going to care about every single letter, link, sentence, paragraph, button, referral, what UTM parameter, whatever it is, you're going to care about those things because it's very technical to the bottom line of the business. So I love that you said that, Dean. Welcome, Miss Andrea. Carrie, what do you think when you send an email? Why is it a one?
I feel like a newbie as far as like email marketing maturity in this room, probably. I don't know. So you and I Favor. So I hired Favor like 2 years ago to help me with my Clean and Vogue all natural cleaning solution company because I really did not want to do any of it. I didn't want to do the tech. Um, I am quite technical because I've sold software in corporate for many years, and but then when I jumped off into entrepreneurship, um, it was a mindset. I'm like, I can't do it. I don't want to do it, and everything. And so I really relied on you Favor to do the heavy lifting for me. And so I would either you and your team would write the emails for me and then sent and then I would review them and approve and then it would go out, or I would write it. And I really felt honestly like when I would write it, if I knew what to write about, like that's probably my biggest challenge is what do I send out? Like I kind of feel that way right now. Like I don't know where I sort of need like a handbook or something like send this out and then send, and I don't know, but like I said, I'm sorry if this is boring anybody that's way more mature in the email marketing world than me, but um, I, f- I feel excited at the same time. I feel like who's gonna, is this, it really comes down to data. If the challenging thing as an entrepreneur is having enough data to know what your customer is going to want to hear about and read about, and what their needs are. And that really is the biggest challenge is what do you really know your customer? What are they? And when you know them, then you know what to send out.
100%. I think it's like you said, it's what to send them and what they're receiving that makes someone from not sending it in the first place. Because you also don't want to inform them or misinform them on something that you're not promoting or talking about consistently. And that could be a hinder. It could just impede your progress. But I think just the hello, hi, good morning, happy holidays it goes a long way. And I used to ignore those things, but it's actually an actual thing. And even if you don't know what to say, there's a website that I got a shout out to. His name is Marcus. I got to hear it from him on Clubhouse some time back. It's called nationaldaycalendar.com. And there's a national day for everything, right? Today is September 18th. Today is Air Force's birthday. Today is National HIV AIDS and Aging Awareness Day. Today is also National Cheeseburger Day. I didn't know about those three. you know so I just googled, opened the website, I'm looking at it and I'm like, then tomorrow is National Pawpaw Day, National Butterscotch Pudding Day, and Talk Like a Pirate Day. So if I owned a butterscotch pudding restaurant, then tomorrow I would say, hey, all butterscotch pudding for free, or buy one get one 50% off or something if I sell butterscotch pudding, right? If I'm pirate, if my brand archetype is like a pirate, then all right. You can do whatever you want to do with your branding. And that also creates color because now you actually care about the days of the week. And then that just adds value to your business long term. So there are a lot of things that you have to look at. And when you're sending out those emails, at some point, you can tell them a story, and then that story turns into a new story. And I think the reason why most people don't send out emails as much is because there's not as much keyword research that is done. Because if I do a lot of keyword research, then it tells me that what you're looking for is what I have. If I give you a banana and I know that you like green bananas and I'm holding a yellow banana, or I'm holding a plantain, right? I may not sell that particular banana or that actual fruit because it's not exactly what I want because it's the wrong color, it's the wrong taste, it's the wrong feeling, it's the wrong experience. It may not be the wrong brand, but it's the wrong time. So if you value how people show up, okay, this zip code, people like Trader Joe's so much. People like going to Target so much. Okay, let me run an ad that is red and green and see what happens. Like, that's a very random example. But if you run an ad with red and green, and every time someone's going to Target, they see red, and then they see yours with red and white text, not because you're copying the brand, but if your brand is supplementing the context of what you're sending, then you can create a red banner just because it's Red Day. If you could put it like that. If there's an awareness campaign, or if it's the Olympics, when the Olympics was going on, you could see people sending emails with context to the Olympics. When Kendrick and Drake were beefing, everyone was throwing Kendrick lines everywhere. Now with the politics and going on with the election coming up soon, you're seeing emails going on that. So then you'll see that before you know it, it's Valentine's. Before you know it, it's summertime. So you have to look at those things and ask yourself, what can I talk about in context of the day and what everyone is talking about, and connect. Let's say when Facebook goes down or an app goes down and everyone is screaming, right? I go straight to the email and I'll be like, told y'all, like, you're still here. You're still receiving emails. The servers are not down because you paid for the servers. You paid for the domain. You paid for the hosting. You paid for that's your intellectual property. So when you pay for those things, you don't have a bad day, like a Facebook down day, and then your business is down for 24 hours because you're depending on Facebook all day. So when you change the trajectory of how you process and use second party data to first party data, in other words, going on social media and sharing your content and telling them to follow you on your website or follow you on your show, follow you on your podcast, follow you where you are showing up, then people will connect with you because there's an offer. People don't know if there's an offer until you tell them. If there's no offer, there's no way they can go. So those are things to look out for when you're segmenting. And I'll talk about it in the last 30 minutes because we're here to the top of the hour. So I wanted to make sure that we're here for 2 hours at least. We might go a little over, but I want to cover everything within these 2 hours so that when I say this once, I'm done talking about it. And then if I need to bring it up again, it's in context or in relation to this so that I don't have to repeat this over again. So I'm loving that we're talking about this too. Welcome back, Cami. And Miss Andrea, I wanted to come to you, say hello. How are you? And I'm going to come to you, Edmondson. What's up? And you still got a ticket. What's going on? Hello. Good afternoon.
Hi. Do you know what? I joined Favor's house, so I thought, yeah, but I didn't realize it's a different house. So, yeah, I still got a ticket. Good afternoon, and that's it. I'm actually driving, but I thought let me still come in and listen and support. So, yeah,
Thank you. Drive safe.
thank you. I'm in crazy traffic, so that's why I was able to touch my phone. Yeah, I'm in crazy traffic. It's rush hour now
True.
in the UK, so
True.
yeah.
Perfect timing.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to let people know about, like, value? How do people connect? What is the value? Like, even if you receive an email from a brand you love, or, like, you see, like, your beautiful bag, for example, your purse, like, if you get an email from them, how do you feel? Do you feel like they're talking to you or they're talking at you?
Do you know what? When I get email, actually, just app notifications, let's say ASOS, and it's like, oh, we've got 25% going on. And especially, it's as if like they know my habits as well. When they're like, they know, okay, this person's probably only shopping when there's discount. So it's good to get like a push notification on the app. I did get an email actually from, there was a place where I got vitamins from. They emailed me today actually, and they said, you earned points last time, why not earn more points? And they gave like an incentive as such as if you invite a friend, both of you will get such and such. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to understand what this person's doing at the front. Sorry. Yeah. you both get basically a reward. So I think those types of emails are very, they're like, oh, okay. Okay, let me, who can I invite, or who can I refer for this offer? I do like offers, and I do check the offers. If the offers is not, I don't need it at that time, then it's not necessary. But I do appreciate when they do that. Um, yeah, that's that.
Thank you so much for that. You're right. You know, sometimes you may not be ready for that offer. They'll be like, last chance to get this before 11:59, and then I'm like, those things don't move anymore. Like I mean, it works for those who are probably getting in, but if you're really like an OG, a vet, somebody that can really look between those things, you can see those stuff. Like I've unsubscribed to some emails today because I'm like, I've given you all a whole year to give me something different, but I'm getting, promotions every time. So I'm like, I don't want to receive these emails. Not because I don't care about the business, but I feel like I don't even know your business and I've been on your email list for a year. Like that's the level of commitment and communication it's getting to. Like, even if it's an email on saying, hey, here's a story about how we did things, here's who we are, we've changed our privacy policy, we've done this. Like, those emails go a long way than just that 10% off sale. Because you're gonna get that sale, but if I don't know how to even buy, then what are we talking about? There has to be some type of correlation between, the buying and the selling. Because with email, I talked about this yesterday, there are two types of purchase or purchases. There's pre-purchase and this post purchase, right? With pre purchase, you're purchasing things that allow you to find out more. Which is a better option for the car? Are we going to get this car or that car? Are we going to get on this flight or that flight? Are we going to go to this restaurant or that restaurant? Then post purchase is like, okay, now we got this car. Now we got to go back to the dealership. We got to take care of this tire. We have to change the oil. That's post purchase because you bought a house. Now you got to fix the roof. Now you got to change the knobs. You got to add a privacy lock. You got to buy the ring. Like that's post purchase. You already bought the house. You bought the car, but you're still paying for things that are supporting the purchase of the product. So if people are working with you and there's a pre-purchase, post-purchase incentive, the goal should be, okay, if you're working with us, then if we have an event coming up, then you get a way to become the person that we can connect with long term, right? So those are things you have to look at as a business and see where that takes you, to. Cami, would you like to speak on this for a little bit? And I'm gonna jump on this call and I'll be right back. I wanted to just pass it on to you real quick.
Hey, did he say Cammy?
Mm-hmm.
He did indeed,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Can somebody give me a quick summary? Because I had to run out really quick. But I'm sorry, I was going in and out of the room. Anybody?
We were talking about emotion around sending the emails out, what to send out. And then earlier we were talking about the images and how important it is to SEO. And then I think Favor was saying most recently receiving emails from companies and how you feel about reading them and staying subscribed.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. No, I would say when it comes to photos and putting SEO, it's definitely really important. The algorithm can read it. And I think a lot of people forget little details like that on the back end, especially when putting it on different sites so that people could be able to um, not only source it back to you, but source the expertise and the knowledge that you're putting out there for the world to see back to you. I found it really interesting when Kia and Faber were talking about earlier about the SEO email marketing specifically being almost connected to being a musician who writes songs. I used to be a TV reporter, and the hook, what Kia brought up earlier in the subject line of an email to capture somebody's attention, to draw them, to make the email irresistible in a way, is almost like a tagline, or we call it bait, um, like an article bait title to capture our consumers and viewers' attention. We call it a headline, on television for those who are TV reporters, producers, television directors, and so on and so forth, to capture that viewer's attention, because we know people are busy and doing a trillion things at once these days. Um, so I found that to be interesting. I hope Kia and Favour and different creatives like them continue to be email marketers, and also still, showcase their talents within the music artistry world, because it's definitely needed. I know I work with a lot of creatives in addition to entrepreneurs, when it comes to like branding, but I hope more and more people like Favor and Kia come into the email marketing space, because we definitely need you, and we need that perspective and that expertise for sure. So I just enjoyed listening to that, and relating music, and being a music artist and someone who writes songs and that sort of thing, to email marketing.
Thank you, Cami. Appreciate you for that. Yeah, there's definitely a lot that can be covered, and I think we can cover it if we really look at the bigger picture on communication, connection, and just building. I was just getting a call from a client. I said, I'll call you back. Let me finish this up in 20 minutes, and 18 rather, and let you all have your day too, because we've been here since what time? 9 a.m. Central. So yeah, it's been a good one. And I want to make sure that you guys are all, you know, like understood on all those things. So thank you so much for that. Edmondson, want to come to you. Good morning or good afternoon where you are. We'd love to hear from you. Thoughts on your conversation. If you have a question, please let us know. The floor is yours.
Hi, yeah, thank you so much. Well, it's not a question. I really enjoy the nuggets you've been throwing out, and I deeply appreciate it. Yeah, I just sent you a message, and um, I recently just acquired a skill in this in digital marketing, and so this kind of gathering is of great interest to me. Yeah, but I just wanted to throw some light to what the question Carrie asked, and then I don't know. I hope that can that helps in any way. I think that, yeah, if we're looking at what kind of emails how do you send emails? What do you write, or what do you send to your clients? I think the thing to do first is to do some kind of research or analysis on your clients. I mean, who are your clients? These are some questions to ask. Who are your clients? What's the pain points of your clients? What are they struggling with? What industry do you serve? What are the problems in that industry? And if you're able to pin it down, then of course, like I mean, with AI, it's a lot easier to do quite a lot. You can just go to ChatGPT and then put out the question, and it will give you to write the emails for you, and then you can edit it to suit your client's personality. You get, and then that also reminds me of what you said earlier. You get, yeah, it's basically about information. You get, so if you're able to address the pain points of your clients, if you yeah, that's a good way to start. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to add.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, when you know those points, it plays a big role in how you deliver information too. I think it was yesterday I was talking about it, and I asked someone, I think it was here or outside, and I was like, would you rather solve a pain point? It's not a trick question, and I want to hear anyone can pop up in the room because I want to hear this. Would you rather solve a pain point, or would you rather create a pleasure point? It's not a trick question, y'all. Somebody can answer the question. Go ahead, Carrie.
I feel like if you solve the pain point, then it leads to the pleasure. So that's why I was hesitating to answer. But I think you mean in the initial email outbound. I I have from my marketing knowledge, I think you're supposed to solve the problem first.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. I like that. When you're solving the problem and they don't know the solution we're going to get to, does that still make the problem a problem?
Um, can you rephrase that?
If they don't know the solution to the problem that you're solving, like they're unaware, they don't have any clue, but they're expectant, but they don't know what to expect. If that solution is not satisfactory to their problem, is that problem still a problem as a pain point?
Yes. They're gonna take no action or move on, right?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I see. So you have to address the pain point and give them a solution at the same time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a two-way street because someone can say, "Oh, I know that you're struggling with this. I know you need this. I know you need that." And then this is where the problem is. Click here. I mean, it sounds very good because it has that direct approach. But imagine instead of reiterating what they're really going through, and telling them, hey, imagine a world where you live where this and this is happening. You're creating an experience that they now have to picture this. When someone says picture this, like it's picture in motion. So now instead of them thinking through the picture, they're living through the picture. And that's an emotional cycle that they would have to feel. So when they're reading your emails, it's not a pitch, it's a story. And that story is addressing the pain point within the pleasure point, and then they'll feel excited. You know, when you're excited and you want to swipe your card, it's because you're so happy you're about to get this thing. You're thinking about all the things you want to do with this thing. That's the pleasure you've got into. The pain is over, the pain is up, but that pain is still there when you're still in decisive mode, and especially if they don't even know the brand. So that's why I was bringing it up like that. But I love how you said that, Carrie.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think if you don't give them a solution or an option anyway, they'll remain frustrated or just not think of you again because they're like they don't have they don't have any options.
Exactly. And I think people love to choose. They love to choose. Tesla creates options. You know, Apple creates all these colors to choose from. uh Amazon tells you, do you want Prime or do you want standard? Like, you know, we love to choose. You know, if we get a chance to choose, then I think the chances are better and the opportunities are more exciting to reveal than it just being this is what you want. You know, Starbucks will tell you small, medium, or large. Most people go with medium, right? So those options, if I just had medium only, it may not be as attractive. You know, so there's so many factors to play into that, and it also helps you with how you segment and connect to those right people. So thank you so much for that, Carrie. Hey John, welcome to the room. Good morning. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. The topic email marketing? Is what you're talking about?
Yes.
So I did 3 emails on Monday, and they're set to redeliver, I think, tomorrow to those who don't open. And I do 3 different styles. One is to radio station decision makers that had a 53% open rate, 45 clicks, 6 bounces, and only one subscribe. The other one's for advertisers, an advertising special. That one is very much leading with special reduced rate that is a 33% open, 5 clicks. And consumers of the podcast version of my show, that right now has a 34% open. And actually, that's all the way around. The consumer email for my show was 33% opens, and the advertising one was 25 or 34% opens. So they all have different needs and intentions. One is trying to get the radio show added on more radio stations. The other one's to get more people that have not listened to past episodes of the show to listen to the show. And the third one is advertisers and sponsors are looking for deals and a way to get more reach for them and their clients. So the subject line was all done with that purpose. What I focus on is keeping the subject line short. Don't put emojis or whatever until the end, if I do that at all. And to lead with what's in it for them, the most important thing. And most of it is not about addressing a need, except for the advertising one. And for that one is very much about addressing a need, and that's the way it was. The whole title was subjected towards the special reduced rate, and that celebrate 121 stations. So everyone has a different purpose. If that answers your question.
It did. It did. Thank you so much for that. I think that intention is the biggest thing because, like you were talking about, if somebody gets an email and they've missed out on, let's say, 10 episodes and they find you have like 400 or 300 or just a numerous, like they can't even count. It feels like they've entered a new world that you've brought them into through one episode, through one email. And that's where the fan base begins to build because they probably didn't know you talked about this topic or that topic, but because it was of interest to them, at least they had the trusting factor to even let through the door past the email into your inbox where the link lives, and then that link is allowing them to always access it if it's available, and that allows people to now opt in even further because they want to learn more, sign up for an event, show up to a conference, or have a feature, or even go through a contest. It now makes the brand come alive. So I love that you mentioned that too, John. Thank you for that insight. With podcasting, what would you say email segmentation would lead into with podcasting? Because like you talked about too, there are B2B shows, B2C shows. How can someone segment them so that they're not selling to the wrong person or talking to the wrong person?
I can just tell you what I do, and the segmentation I do is very rudimentary. It's not as complicated as some people. But the most important thing is what is the recipient? What's going to motivate the recipient? I really focus on the opens, deliveries and opens. If my deliveries are good and the opens are good, then some good things will happen. So what I try to do is segment out openers periodically that constantly and prune the list and get rid of people who never open. It's just it might be a good address, but it's a waste of time and energy to get the open rate up even higher. The consumer one, we want to get as many people on that. The radio one, I did a blank email to radio stations in Ireland and England today. I'll focus on Canada next. And those that don't say, hey, don't ever email me again, they're going to be added to the radio decision makers list. But I focus on segmenting out the opens, and if I want to get really defined, go into the clickers. But then it's different is I'm not selling anything. So if I was selling something, I would, certainly have a list of clickers of people who want, for example, kitchen improvement products. That those are buyers. I want to do a different list and segment it down, make it smaller, make it leaner, make it meaner.
Ooh, I like that. Make it leaner, make it meaner. Yeah, because people see those when they see those posts, those words, those sounds, when they're able to see and detect and know, okay, this is exactly what they're trying to relay, then it just makes it all better. Like there's a whole vibe that comes through that actually introduces a culture that people can adapt to because as a brand, there's a culture for that. People know there's a culture for Apple, there's a culture for Tesla, there's a culture for Amazon, there's a culture for Whole Foods, there's a culture for Walmart. Like we don't have to define the culture. The culture is already existing because you can just be within a consumer behavior environment and just watch how people interact. Like that in itself is already behavior that is being adapted by people that are already within that community. So you know how they say like you are the five people that you connect with or the five people who you're next to, or tell me who your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Like that is exactly how it rolls, in that community base. So I love that you're able to mention that too. I think one thing too that, like you said with emojis, now I'm thinking a little differently, John, because you said don't put the emojis at the beginning I've done them both, and I've seen both responses. But I also know, like, when you said when you're reading something and you're hit with an emoji before a text, it's like, are you thrown away or are you like leaning more into it?
Well, I'm an older guy, so first of all, I don't speak in emojis, so I have no idea what that means. And I'll use an example. A fire emoji to you might mean something totally different to me. For example, if I had a guest on my show the other day. He's going to radio this weekend, who lost his wife and one of his daughters in a house fire. If I send an email to him that starts with fire, more than likely a fire emoji, more than likely I'm going to get a totally different response. However, if I focus on the text, and there's certain readability things that you talked about, you can talk more about. If I start with the text, I know that the search engines, other ones can read that. When I start adding in special features, special characters, not every email program will read that. And a lot of email programs flag that as spam. So right now, I'm just testing emojis and I'm putting them at the end. To be honest with you, I'm not seeing a big change either in the podcast title episodes or in the email.
Okay. I love that. Okay. Thanks for bringing that up too. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Huh. Okay. I think when you said, like, when people are reading with the emojis and that's the first thing you see, it can throw them off, and it might just make them wonder why was that first. And then some people may want to use it so that it actually humanizes a brand, or you say it last. Like if I say good morning, I'll say good morning and put a sun emoji after the morning and not before the good. I see what you're saying. It has there's a different way people can read the text, that that brain thinks a little differently on that. D, want to hear your thoughts on that too, because I saw the message in the chat.
Yeah, it might. I'm on the go while I'm listening. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so what I put in the chat was, if you're using emoji, and I don't know, again, I'm new to this, but I'm thinking out loud and with you guys. So if you're using emojis, I feel like you're talking to a certain audience of people, maybe like more millenniums and, more of the I don't know, the new age person, you know what I mean? Like an older person probably wouldn't get what an emoji means, if that, like, they probably just scroll right past it because it doesn't mean anything to them. But a millennial, like, they speak in emoji language, so they may be more geared to open the email.
Okay. Okay. I see. Carrie, I would love to hear your thoughts too, because I think Carrie has something nice to say too. Go ahead.
Your emails stand out to me, Favor, because you put the emojis, and I'm 56. I guess that's old. um, I find them cheery when I see the emoji. It just instigates. Is that the word? In like a visceral reaction of in a positive way, and I tend to, I think, click on it. Um, I'm more likely to click on it. But I'm not your average 56-year-old, and in a way that I don't mean that to brag or anything at all, whatsoever. But I'm techie, and I don't know. I'm a weirdo. I'm an innovator. So again, back to the data, you guys are tracking your results through your email marketing, and you're doing it in a cadence and a discipline where you can read results. I'm not there yet. So I think that's experimenting, testing is everything. And just like when people ask, what time should I post my social media posts? The answer typically is when your audience is most apt to read them. And so there's no set rule. Oh, you should post at 7 a.m. every day. Well, your audience might still be sleeping, So I think it's the same with the emojis.
Ooh, that's a good one. Please, John, I want to hear your thoughts on
Yeah, I'm,
this.
I'm looking through, and My first concern is the email filters, the email programs. So if I lead with the word free, for example, certain words you put in titles, it almost always identifies it as commercial solicitation email, and it gets filtered in spam. So your intended audience may never see it. I view emojis the exact same way. For me, it's telling me that the majority of it's just me. I don't have a lot of concrete info, but number one, it is telling me that this is a commercial email. That's the one thing. It's like the word free. So, for example, if I look at the last email I sent to consumers, my podcast, the one that had no emoji had a 45% open rate. The one with emoji that was sent out, and granted, it was only Monday, so it's going to climb a 33% open rate. That's a difference of 12%. Is it emojis? I don't know yet, but I'll do more A/B testing. I suspect it might be, but if the best consumer doesn't get my message, it doesn't really matter. If other consumers get it, but I lose 12% of my audience, that's a pretty sizable chunk.
Okay, I like that. D, D might be busy because I saw what you said in the chat too. And yeah, say I'm 52 and I'm going to sound very cliche. You're only as old as you feel. Well, that is true because, you can feel like a great person because your body is feeling alive. And I think what makes somebody's body feels alive is what they put in. It's just 100% value, like both mentally, spiritually, physically, everything all encompassing, because it's very important for you to think about like the holistic mindset and where the mindset is taking you to when you're creating these experiences for people. So I believe in that too. I think I myself would put that into play because when I see workshops and I see people doing workshops, it's teamwork. When I see people sending out emails, it's teamwork because the team is you and me. Like if you receive that email and if I send you a message and you receive it, that's a great telephone communication. But if the telephone is broken and I'm getting bad feedback, then I may not like the experience. That will make me unsubscribe. So there's so many layers to that as well that I see. Cami, what would you say too about that when it comes to emojis? What are your thoughts? Cami just left the room. She might be back. But no, I appreciate this feedback because it's a good way of really giving people, long-term insights, long-term thinking procedures that allow you to also find out what is most important to me. Why is it important to me? And if it's important to me, then the right people would definitely come in as well. Carrie, go ahead. Yes, you have a question.
Yes, I didn't know if it was too off subject. But the burning question for me in the last few weeks has been naming offers. I've found really successful entrepreneurs have these awesome names, like catchy or like abbreviations for their names. And I just don't know how to go about that. Like it's something I've never studied in marketing. Does anyone here know a framework or something, a good way to go about it? Because I think some people are better at it than others, like with their creativity. And I'm highly creative, but I just feel like I don't know where to start with that.
Does anyone want to go before I do? Okay. I would say this. I think when you're naming your offers, I think the beautiful part about the name of the offer is if I hear the name of that offer and that name is custom, it's not just digital marketing, but it has some words to it, like some powerful words and emotional words attached to it, then I would be more excited to, connect with the brand because the brand, you're branding it because, it has a name on it, but now you also want to make it more extendable or expansive to the community that's looking for that exact content piece. So if you call it with a name, most times if it's, let's say, let's see, random name, very random name. Let's see, like ecosystem friendly, right? You're doing something on ecosystem friendliness, and it sounds like, okay, it sounds very nice. But if you create like a pseudonym to support that, and then the word gardening is inside that pseudonym or inside that custom name, then it makes it easy for someone to see it. Like if I say Gardenate, your business, it sounds like Gardenate. What does Gardenate mean? Maybe 8 stands for 8 people in the room, or maybe 8 people per class. So it's customized to a fit. I just made this up. So that could be, excuse me, that could be a way someone can actually use that. And when I hear garden, I'm like, okay, that must be pertaining to something specific. So there are different ways to go about it, but it has to match the keyword. It doesn't have to be off context, but it could be on point, on topic. Does that help?
Yeah, that does help. I've been listening to this podcast called Project Me with Tiffany Carter. She's like a mindset coach, and she also does like digital um, marketing for courses and coaches and stuff like that. And she one of her things is called Project Me Posse, and it's like you don't forget the name. Like she, and there's others that I could give examples of, but I think the memorability of and it's unique. Like as soon as you think of the brand, you connect the name of the offer to it. It's really cool. I want to reach that. And maybe it's just another part of being a business owner is focus and working, practicing it, taking time out each day to write and think and reflect and ask questions from other people like you guys.
Oh yeah, I think you're right on that. When it's time for people to connect the dots and use those specific topics to drive conversations, then it also plays a big role in how they receive it. Because even the name that you might make, Carrie, could be a name that sounds better when it's said in the evening, or sounds better when it's said in the morning. It may just not even have a sound or a flaze to it or a flair to it. But when it's done consistently, then more people will get to connect to the brand faster, because it's no longer just about what you're bringing, but who the person is in the room that is bringing that kind of information through the room. So it definitely plays into that big role, because if somebody asks you what does that mean, then it means that they didn't even get the message. But if they say, oh, does it have to do with this and this, and it is, then you've kind of created a smoother transition for them to understand what you're referring to, as opposed to it just being sign up here or download now. So it gives more character and it gives more class to the brand, especially when it has a sound or clink to it.
Exactly. I want to achieve that.
We're gonna make that happen. We are going to make that happen, especially like, tell people, like, just when you think about, like, for what you do with Cleaning Vogue too, how important is it? I know this may be a little bit different, but I think it's also good for people to know how they treat their homes, treat the way they handle things. What would you tell them? Like, because everyone's buying products these days and everyone's cleaning their homes or getting someone to clean them. Like, what should people pay attention to, just from your like long-term experience, and how you've been able to make it so direct, simple, and easy for people to feel better at home when they're in their comfort of their homes too?
Well, thank you for asking. I'm trying to break the barrier of cleaning just on the daily being a negative connotation and connecting with people, mostly women that take pride in their home and care about um, feeling good in their spaces. And part of that is a lifestyle. And it could be a lifestyle that one is already living, or it could be a lifestyle that one is um, aware that they want to be. feeling better in their spaces and wherever they live or in the portions of their home that they live in. And the other is the last one is someone that's not aware that the spaces in their home are not bringing them joy, or the spaces in their home are actually creating angst or stress. Um, I am far from a clean freak. My husband teases me all the time that I'm a sprawler, like my desk is always full, but I do take pride in my home, and my customers are the same way, that they're wanting to feel good on the daily when they're in their home, and they also, when they invite people in, whether it's family or friends or neighbor and even children, notice that they have an elevated positivity to the interactions in the spaces where they dwell. And my competitors are not talking about that, as far as at least that I looked last. They're either like all natural is like hippies naked in the woods, or it's about um, all about the environment. And I care deeply about the environment, and wildlife makes my day if I see something in the wild, an animal, and that's integrated into the art that I'm doing now. But it, it, it it's kind of unreasonable for people to live. I don't know if anyone in this room is 100% plastic free in every aspect of their life existence. Like, I do my very best to be minimal plastic. If I can upcycle or recycle something, I go to Goodwill all the time, not because I don't want to spend the money at the big box stores, but I want to feel good about taking something old and making it new, and it makes me feel really good. So that's my brand as well, is is having the bottles sitting out on your counter and not feeling like they're so ugly you got to hide them away, and it's one more thing that you don't have to throw away. They're reusable. So sorry if I'm rambling. Favor, did I answer your question?
No, you did. A lot of people don't know these things. That's why I wanted to, give you a chance to let people know them and understand how, these things are very important to our daily lives, because health is wealth. If we're not living and breathing, then how are we helping and how are we doing it, without doing what we need to do first. So that was very important, because of if you're staying home a lot, then what you're inhaling is also affecting how you're breathing.
Yeah, that too. There's health reasons why people have sensitivities to some of the chemicals. I heard kind of by accident, you know how you stumble to a video by accident in your scroll or whatever. And there's this dermatologist talking about how sunscreens in America, they're like banned in Europe, but with some of the ingredients, as is our food sources here in America, we have so many ingredients. And she's like, this, a lot of the sunscreens give people eye agitation. And I'm like, oh my God, that's why every morning my eyes turn red after I put sunscreen on, and then I put my moisturizer on my face, and I'm like, why do my eyes? It just never clicked for me. But so anyway, it's the same with cleaning, where people are programmed to think that the big box cleaners are the only way to get your home clean, that you have to have all these chemicals, and that is simply not true. Now, if you have super like mold built up, that's one thing, but the chemicals give people health sensitivities, and sometimes over time, um, like they don't know it, and then all of a sudden they start having issues. So anyway.
No, I love that. Thank you for mentioning that. It's also a big thing too, even when it comes to even this is so unrelated, but it's so important for those who are, I mean, if you do this, then this is important to you too. Like when you even brush your teeth, the fluoride in the chemical within that paste also affects your neurons, like how your brain reacts and how it works. Because when you look at the back of a toothpaste, there's that strip. There's a red one, a blue one. Like you have to know what's good for you. So I found this one on Amazon and I use it. It's gluten free. It's like there's no acid in it. It's all organic, and they sell it in like 3 or 4 packs, so you don't even have to buy, all the time toothpaste, because how many times do you replace your toothpaste? So if you use it and you're using it in a good way, that could last you for a whole year or even less than that. And then, how that plays into how you think, because yeah, you're spitting it out, but what you're leaving into your mouth and into your toxins and all those things affects how you think, how affects how you move. Like these things, we don't really think about them, and you wonder, why am I having a headache? Why is my head hurting? There are things like that that can contribute to that, even though you're not really seeing it because it's a routine. But when you actually actualize the thought process of what you're doing, then things start to change and it just switches up completely. So when you said that, it got me thinking about that part in too, because we don't know what we don't know. But as long as we know what we know, we can always learn more as well. So that was a great, insight too, Carrie. Thanks for that too. So guys, this room has definitely given a lot of us some insights on how we can improve our character, improve our click through rates, improve our mission statements, improve how we say things online, right? When you send an email, that email has to have some type of response, right? And that response is either going to make you stay or make you leave, right? So those are some major things that you want to look out for long term. Before we go, I wanted to go around the room on stage, and if you're in the audience, please put it in the chat what you felt like you really learned the most in this room. And welcome, Austin. Edmonton, wanted to pass it to you. What was the biggest takeaway? And then let people know how they can connect with you. Okay, we'll come back to you, John.
The biggest takeaway I have from this is, no, would it be email marketing or anything you do, look at your analytics and look at it to see, for example, email, look at your delivery rate. Is all your email getting delivered? Then look at your open rate. That is extremely important, because if you have the best offer in the world and you don't get very few people to open it, you cannot develop a lot of new potential consumers of your content. Last is clicks. If we don't get the open rates, it doesn't matter. The click rates aren't going to be there. If your open rates are good and your click rates are low, look at changing your wording and do some testing. Do the same thing with your podcast episodes. Really look at your titles, look at things like that, and see which one's performing better, which one's not. The ones that are performing better, there's a reason why, and it usually is SEO, and that also includes podcast search directories or podcast directories in the SEO field. So there's lots of things to look at, but if you don't look at the numbers, you're not going to know. And you don't have to be a rocket science. You can really drill down. I don't. I look at the very basic things, and it really doesn't do a whole lot of good to have 100,000 email list if you're getting the open rates of a 250 subscriber email list. All you're doing is paying more and delivering more, and your lack of response is probably hurting you in the long run when it comes to spam filters. The more you get identified as spam, the lower your delivery is going to be. So really pay attention to your numbers. That'll reveal everything for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's a big one on numbers. Yes, 100%. Thank you for that. Miss Andrea?
Uh, I think your question regarding pain points, basically solving a pain point, and how it goes hand in hand. Well, communication is key. How you communicate and what you're going to do, and if your customer is going to understand about that, understand how you're going to solve their problem or what they need. So yeah, that's very interesting. You normally, when you create something and you've got this big idea, you're thinking about essentially yourself, not really about the customer. You're excited about this big idea. So now it's about your big idea. What's the niche, or who needs that service regarding your idea? If that makes sense. But yeah, that's that. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good one. Yeah, 100%. I think it just boils down to that intentionality. Like if I'm sending this email, then I know it's supposed to be received so that it can be received back in good in good deeds, because I'm expecting a response and not, silence. It may come later, but at least the response should be justifying the question that was asked initially. So that was a good one. Thanks for that, Carrie.
Well, I was going to say what John said. Like after I heard him say what he took away, I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. And then Ms. said, and then I'm like, I agree with her too. So it's hard for me to say. Like I said early on when I joined the room, I'm a, a youngster when it comes to email marketing knowledge. For me, it's kind of hard, challenging, I should say, for me to feel the importance of the practice of email marketing, because it's kind of like vaporware, you know what I mean? Like you put it out there and it's like then you wait. But I like the the practice of the analytics, and I think if I have intentionality at making it more of a discipline in my business and relying on the results from the analytics and then actually achieving the results from the email marketing, I'll be more excited to do it. And this room today has given me um, some more motivation and excitement around building my list. And it'd be awesome if, I don't know what you guys have talked about in the past, because my first time, I believe, Favor, in this room. I know you have different rooms in Clubhouse, or at least you used to, but I would love to talk about freebies. Maybe jot that down, or maybe you guys have already talked about that. I could listen to a replay. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Carrie. That's a good point. I've actually written this down. Freebies. I'll bring it this week. I'll bring it this week because I'll probably do it on Friday. Freebie Friday. Yeah, let's do that.
Thanks. Awesome. I'll be there.
You're, you're welcome. Okay, perfect. We're set. Yeah, we're gonna do that. I love taking action like that. So we'll definitely talk about freebies and maybe, do freebie Fridays. Like, is it really free or is it paid in between? Is there a payment somewhere? Is there a catch? All those things. We're gonna break that down. So I've written that down and we'll get that done on Friday. Thank you for that. Dr. Fashion, good morning. And I want to say you finally got it.
Oh, no, 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 no,
Okay,
no.
you know what? Let me do this real quick. What's going on?
Custom made, one of a kind.
Custom made?
Yeah,
Ooh,
from somebody else, not of the company. Yeah.
wow. That I don't know what do you want to do about that? Because they shouldn't be doing that to you.
I know, and I've been patient. So if I'm just waiting it out, because I'm like, if I'm reaching out to all the right people and nothing is getting done, then I might have to make a video about it. So yeah.
Oh, they're probably gonna see that in their servers.
Oh, I'm gonna tag them. What you mean?
Yo,
What you mean?
that's crazy. But I got to tell you, congratulations on your achievement. That's a huge thing. And I think email marketing has contributed to this success. If not, let's talk about that real quick. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so when I first started my YouTube channel, I didn't even know what an email newsletter was. um, and I had one, and it's because I decided to make a website. I don't know what sparked the idea that I should have a website, and this was like, over 15 years ago. Um, so I didn't see any other content creators having a website. But one thing I did notice as a content creator is that you can have this massive following, fan base online, but the chances of every single person seeing your post, I mean, it's getting even harder now, right? We have companies like Instagram and Facebook saying, hey, you want to boost your post to get seen more? Like, what you mean? So I'm at that point now where sometimes, like even on my Instagram, less than 10% of my followers are seeing my post, even if they marked it as like they turn the notifications on. So having my email list allows them to see something that they may have missed. And because I have built up this massive email list that is active, might I add, because I make sure I look at my click-through rates to see if people are actually consuming the content and or buying things, I'm able to monetize that. So when brands reach out to me, they're not always reaching out for me to do a video. They say, hey, can you promote us in your email list? And I will only do that if it makes sense to what I'm doing for the brand. I don't just do random posts. So there's a lot of little things I do. I heard about the freebies. I do that quite often. It's free for them, but on the back end, I'm usually making something. So I have like freebies for like ebooks for content creators on best tools to make videos because it's interactive. There's videos embedded in the ebook as well as clickable links where I can get a commission if they decide to purchase something. And they are aware that's a way for them to support me. So it's like all these little cool things I do with the email list, but I think everyone should have one.
I love that. Yeah, everybody should definitely have that because that's the only way you can grow. If someone tells you to subscribe to their channel or their podcast or something that they do, even if it's a book, have a book club that you can always connect with. Even churches, I'm always encouraging them to also get emails. They just did that last Sunday at our church because it's like all these people are coming to church for the first time, they're returning. You don't email them Monday through Saturday, but you want them to come on Sunday. There are things that it's a bottom line between all across every single corporation. Email communication, like without buildings and companies and all these policies, procedures, it is still communication. You get back home, you talk to your loved ones, you communicate. You wake up in the morning, you want to do something, you communicate. So those communication, you know, I would say I'll call it etiquette. It just goes a long way because it also helps you to maintain that brand value and also gives you that brand sustainability over time too. Carrie just said, I just subscribed to your YouTube channel. Yeah, she's amazing, especially the thumbnails. She's killing it with thumbnails. So it's big. Yeah, Dr. Fashion, please answer Carrie's question. How long have you been doing this?
Yeah, it's been over 15 years. And I have like so many channels now that have like a massive following. So I feel like once you understand the platform, you can keep doing it over and over and over again. So luckily, they're not capping us on how many pages we can make. And this is for all platforms. But I've been able to replicate the success on YouTube with multiple pages and they're faceless. So yeah, it's been over 15 years.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I love it, and God has been telling me lately to start a YouTube channel. I do not know why, but a lot of times spiritually, you're advised to go in a direction, and you don't know why, and you just need to follow, and the blessings will abound.
I agree. And it's crazy you said that because I remember it's probably like 10 years ago or something. I was going to sell my channel. I was like, you know what? I am tired of fighting with this algorithm. Nobody's seeing my stuff. I just was so frustrated because I put in so many years on YouTube and I just wasn't seeing the reward of that, all the hard work I was putting in. And then also it was costing me. So I was losing money, right? It cost me to make the videos. Any materials I'm buying, it's a cost. And so somebody reached out to me and he was like, I'll buy your channel. And I was very close to selling this channel. And I'm so glad that I didn't because it's the same channel that changed everyone's life in my family, including mine. I was able to buy my mom's childhood home, able to buy my dad a home in Nigeria. Like I've been able to do so much. But what if I had sold my channel? So yeah, you should definitely do the YouTube.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that. It's very inspiring. I'm so happy to have met you today.
you too. And hey, Favor, welcome back. I see you had a call.
thank you. Yeah, Dr. Fashion is amazing. Yeah, Carrie, definitely that's a great connection and she'll definitely help you throughout the whole process. YouTube is like it's available, but it's like uncharted territories because people want to be there, but it's like I don't know about that. But it's great to be on there either as a podcast extension or as being there actively with showing up for the community too. It's a big thing. So and email marketing is also a great thing on there too, because when you look at YouTube channels and you go to the about section, there's an email attached. You can connect with those people and those emails are there visibly. You just have to run through maybe some captcha or do some verification, but once you go through those numerical alphanumeric values, then you should be fine. And then connecting with them, making those connections, or even adding them to your list and sending them something that is relevant. Because if I add you to a list, then that list is relevant to your day because you're within a community. So it doesn't feel like it's spam. I think when something feels like it's spam is when it's not relatable, it's not actionable, it's not helping me, it's just fluff. And it's also very promoting, like very Fordsy, if I can put it like that, but it's not really giving me the substance because I have to kind of scratch to reveal instead of revealing what I'm looking at before I'm able to scratch what's behind the surface. So there are many things to look into that too as well. So thank you for that insight. I'll wrap up by saying this. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and I want to give you some numbers that you can hear based on what I've done. Because I've been doing email marketing for a while. Business has been going on for 11 years, a decade in a year. It's 11 years this month. And I started sending emails like really like I started sending emails a long time ago, but as far as capturing leads, I've been capturing leads for a long time. With the new iOS 18, there's so many new updates. That's what I started this room off with earlier. And people are like, you sound so clear. So there's something I did with the settings, and it's voice isolation, which everyone should have if you have an iPhone. But the way they've changed it now with the iOS 18 is like they've done something completely new. It sounds so crisp. So I said, okay, let me come on here and talk about this platform, Flowdesk, and also just share with you why email marketing is one of the greatest things that could happen to your business. There's something called total email volume. I'm going to do this in 5 minutes. Total email volume. The total email volume, right? There's emails, right? There's email sends, there's email volume, right? So email sends are the number of emails uniquely you've sent or created. In other words, how many times have you created those emails? How many times have you sent them out? And it shouldn't be confused with total email volume. Now, email volume is the most important factor for your email success. I kept this for the last so that whoever is here, you'll grab this really well. Email volume is the total number of emails that you've sent out. Welcome, Tarika. The total number of emails you've sent out to individual subscribers during the lifetime of your account. It's different from the number of emails you've sent out per unit. So if it's a total value, and this does not include workflows or segments that you've put into workflows and sequences. These are like total number of emails you've sent out to individual subscribers during the lifetime of your account. My total email volume right now, and I've been doing this very strategically from 2019 because I told you before I was using MailChimp and Constant Contact. So I switched over to Flowdesk when they first came out in 2019. And that was when I was even starting my podcast. And I interviewed someone, her name is Emily Myrick, can never forget her name. And she introduced me to Flowdesk because I interviewed her on the show talking about Flowdesk. It was early beta, early days. And I was like, this is so cool. So she gave me her affiliate link and I signed up to say thank you. And I started using it for my business and then started telling my business clients about Flowdesk. So I started using it in 2019. My total volume today to date, right? 2019 to date is 940,458 total email volume, right? In 2019, I had zero email volume. In 2020, I had 51,607 total email volume. In 2021, I had 118,409 total email volume. In 2022, it dipped to 64,543 total email volume. 2023 is when it jumped up. That's when I said, hey, I'm going to take this a little bit more seriously than I have been, because I actually started trusting in Flowdesk, and I was like, okay, let's do more of this. And last year we were able to serve 95 clients, and I sent out alongside with the team 276,382 total volume, right? This year is not over, and we've hit for the first time 429,517 total email volume. That is 45%, 45.7% of the total email volume that I've sent all through this year. So I know by the end of this year, we're going to be talking about 1 million total email volume. What does that mean? What does that really mean? It means that the people who are now clicking on your emails are more, because when you have a email volume, when you think about volume, when someone says turn up the volume, what does that do? It increases the sound, right? It amplifies the message. It makes it clearer. It makes it louder. Like, you can't miss it. If someone is talking to you through a speakerphone or through a megaphone, you can't miss the words the person is saying, because it's literally in your ear. It's in your face, right? That is email volume. So the volume has to go up over time. So now that it's hit over time, what are the number of clicks? This will also tell you 2019, out of all those thousands and tens of thousands I mentioned, this is what happened. The number of clicks I had is in 2019, zero. Number of clicks I had in 2000, like Dr. Fashion is saying, if you quit early, you never know what's on the other side. Imagine if I quit in 2019. I didn't start a podcast. I came to Clubhouse in 2020. I was like, this thing is not working. I would have just left. But I was like, okay, let's keep going. The number of clicks in 2020 was 400 clicks. That's good, but it could be better. 2021, I had 668, 86 clicks, 688, 86 clicks, 686. And those number of emails, think about the email volume I mentioned before, right? In 2020, those are 51,000 total email volume. In 2021, it's 118,000. But why am I getting only 400 clicks in 1 year? And then in 2021, I'm getting 686 clicks. That's because, yeah, people knew me on the list, but they didn't really know me. Yeah, they opted in. They found me on Clubhouse, on LinkedIn, Google, Pinterest, wherever they found me, podcasts, and they don't really know. So they're just clicking away. They're like, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. 2022, right? I talked about in 2022, the total email volume was 64K. And the number of clicks I had in 2022 were 591 clicks. That's fine, but it's low compared to the tens of thousands that I was able to get. 64,000 equals to 591. That's not good, right? But it could be better. So keep going. 2023, right? I said the total email volume was 276,382 total volume in 2023. The number of clicks was 4,419 clicks. I mean, that's fine too, but I was like, they got to be more. So this is why I'm saying intentionality is a big thing. When 2024 came, I'm going to tell you guys the numbers, and you're going to see this huge jump, right? When 2024 started in January, I said, I'm going to prioritize LinkedIn, Clubhouse, and any other social app that comes this year that's going to help me reach more people. And in turn, it's going to help the podcast extend. And in between that, YouTube came along. So I already kind of forecasted how I was going to do it. So in 2024, we're not even at the end of the year, right? The total volume I mentioned in 2024 till date is 429,517 total email volume. And now my clicks have jumped from last year, 4,419 clicks, to this year, 38,715 clicks. So that means this year, that's why I'm getting 79.8% open rate, 35% click rate, because now they're receiving the email. Now they're getting it in more sequences. They're not just getting before 2021, 2022. I used to, if I go back to those emails, I remember the majority of them were like buy now, sell this, course out, enroll now, 50% off. Like those were great, but they were not hitting. This year, I said, no, I'm going to teach. I'm going to teach. I'm going to educate. I'm going to empower. I'm going to give as much information as I can so that when you now have a time to purchase or you have time to actually do this, then there's enough information I've talked about that can actually get you back to the focal point. So doing this consistently allows you to increase. That's why on LinkedIn now I'm closing on 10,000, followers. I was stuck at 6,000 for probably 3 years on LinkedIn because I was not really using it. It was there, but I wasn't really using it. I'll make a post, ghost mode. I'll make another post, 2 likes, another post, no likes, another post, 3 impressions. I was like, is this thing broken? And I said, no. And this year, let me intentionally connect. And now I have messages on red. I have, opt-ins. I have virtual coffees. I've been called by different companies to, pretty much pick my brain for some softwares and things that, being in panels, being in surveys. Yesterday I was with Honeybook on a survey. These things are happening because of emails, writing articles, being a thought leader, being out there, these things help. And yes, we can do them all by ourselves. We can also help you do it. But I think also the passion comes from what you want people to see. Because if you want people to see this, then 10 years from now, then there has to be something that resonates with them right now. And what resonates with people right now is service, is value, right? We can talk about email marketing, how to send an email, what to send. I won't tell you what to send because you have every right to send anything that you want to based on how you feel because it's your right, it's your business, it's your model. And I'm not here to shift that. I'm just here to shift the mentality on when you do send that email, when you get that response, is that a response you expect or that's a response you're surprised at? If you're able to detect between how those responses come, then using lowercase letters will help, using emojis will help, and using numbers. This sounds like an ABC, but it's very critical. I'll say it again. If there's only 3 things you want to leave in this room as before we wrap this up is one, make sure you're using lowercase letters in your email, lowercase. There's a reason why. You can use uppercase, caps lock, do what you need to, but try it out. If you have a platform that allows you to send emails in a 24-hour cycle, try it out and see, or segment it into 2. Send the same email to people, let's say within the same day, same week, same time. Test it out. I love testing, right? If today is Wednesday, send an email at 12 p.m. Then tomorrow, send it at 12 p.m. Keep the same content, but change the topic. Use one and let that one be caps lock or in normal sentence case, and then use the other one in lowercase, and then see which one does better. You'll realize there's a big difference between those two just by looking at the numbers. 2, use emojis. Emojis are going to save you time, especially if somebody's going to be looking for your article or looking for your email in their search box. Imagine if someone is looking for your email and they use an emoji and all the emojis that you've used in your subject line shows up in the search results. That's easy to find. Not everyone is going to use it that way, but those are techniques that you can use, right? So use those. And the third one, last but not least, is numbers. 5 ways to do this, 3 ways to do this. Odd numbers do better than even numbers online. It's a weird fact. It's very subjective, but it's also very effective. So use numbers. If you're doing 2024 July or 2024 September or December 2024, use those things in your email so that if people are going to read them, they know that it's for that specific season, right? If you're saying happy or Merry Christmas in the middle of the summer, it's not going to resonate because they'll be like, what's going on with this person? Is their marketing team okay? Can we check on them? Those are things that people will be asking you because it's not relating to what their day is. If you say the wrong holiday, they'll be like, what's going on here? If you have a typo, they'll be like, what's going on here? If the link is broken, what's going on here? And especially if the link is broken, because I've seen some emails I've gotten and the emails are broken, that just tells me you didn't test. And I don't mean testing like sending a message to yourself. there are two websites that you can use to test emails technically. One is mailtester.com, mail-tester.com. The other one is inboxbooster.com. I'm giving you all this free information. You could be paying for this, but I'm giving it to you for free because I want you to learn. And you're going to end up paying for those platforms, either with your time, with the resource, with YouTube. You're probably going to do some research, but to save you on that time, just understand what those platforms are doing, and then ask yourself if your emails are getting into the ESPs, email service providers, because they're still service providers, they're still servers, right? You're either going into the Gmail inbox or you're going into the Outlook inbox, or even now there's Apple Mail, right? So there's Apple Mail, there's Outlook Mail, there's Gmail. There's also Yahoo Mail. Don't forget that too, right? Of course, there's AOL Mail. There are all types of mail, but when you look at where your emails are coming from and where your emails are going, it has to make sense. And then that goes into your DNS server, which is your domain name server. And that is another way of, when you ever hear see talking about TXT records, CNAME records, SPF records, those things sound like Greek. But if somebody you're working with can technically tell you what that does, it's going to elevate your brand and give you maximum visibility for your business to thrive. So I hope that helps. I wanted to give you guys those numbers. So when you look at your numbers too, you're able to see, okay, if I didn't do this year, I wouldn't be getting those numbers this year because of the consistency in sending out emails and referring them to places that they can actually enjoy. So this was a great topic, and I'm so glad that we were able to be here today. I see you, Fernand and Amina. Thanks for joining. Clubhouse has changed for sure. You know, it's different. There's house members, there's friends with speakers, and then there's others in the room. So please, if you're in the room, cash in your ticket. I see Miss Andrea cashed in her ticket. So welcome to Marketing Club. We are closing in on 50K members. This is 349.5K members in the room, in this house, and I'm one of the leaders in this house. I'm not the founder, but I'm one of the leaders, and I've been actively leading this since 2021 November, if I remember. Yeah, so it's been a journey, and met a lot of great people here as well. Miss Andrea, would you like to say something?
No, just waiting that I've cashed my ticket.
Yeah, yeah. Love that. And thank you, Carrie. I see that in the comment section. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. So, guys, before we go, please click the link above if you're interested in workshops, because I've been talking about workshops. I did one in July, and I did one, it was an AI workshop where I showed, the people that came in, there were about 8 of them that signed up, and all organic, no ad sale, no nothing. It was all here on Clubhouse, and I was actively doing it because I wanted to show you behind the scenes on how I use AI and SEO to crunch numbers and to actually get you to those desired needs. So I did that AI workshop, and I said I'll do it again, but in a much more broader way. So I'm working on doing some workshops that will be coming to you, but if you want to get those information pieces, click the link above. And you remember I told you about making a choice? I don't want you to just show up and just say, oh, I want to do a workshop. There are 4 options. When you click on this link above, there are 4 options to choose from. Either you want SEO workshops, podcast workshops, artificial intelligence workshops, or email workshops, because any of those 4 is going to get you to your goal. So if you click the link above and you sign up, also put in which option. You can choose more than one because I don't want you to be stuck to one. But if there's interest of you in any of those categories, and if you're interested in any of those 4 options, please click that, and then you will get more insights so you can get the actual information. This is what segmentation is. I'm not going to send you everything. It's going to be based on what you like and based on what you need. If it's all, then great. You'll be in all 4. But if it's 1 out of 4, then I'll focus on that one for you. So thank you so much again, Dee, Carrie, Miss Andrea, John, Dr. Fashion, Edmondson, Eric, Ahab, Tarika, Saul, Nikki, Soda, Kelechi, Amina, and Fernand. You're all appreciated. Thank you so much for joining this room. I'll be back again here tomorrow early. And on Friday, I'm going to be talking about Freebie Friday, courtesy of Carrie. So I'm going to get that all taken care of, and so you can all be able to be here and learn. We're going to talk about it really deep. So I can't wait to have you guys here. But until then, have a blessed Wednesday. Enjoy your hump day. And I'm going to catch y'all in the clubhouse streets.